So in today's episode, entitled Meetings with Marston, we join back up with our Loreholt crew, Team Smart and Beautiful, and their compatriots from the Lunar Tide, as they continue their stakeout and eventual break-in to the manor believed to be owned by the Marin clan. There's some shenanigans, a little bit of mystery discovered, and eventually a new path forward is made available. We hope you enjoy. So, in our last adventure, we will be doing a Loreholt section this week. So we will check back in with Team Smart and Beautiful. Make sure I got the right character set open. I do.
Replacement name pending.
It's still technically Team Smart and Beautiful. They just have, some guest stars here.
Yeah, but that
That's
name
all.
is a mouthful.
Team Smart and Beautiful? Mm-hmm.
Plus guest stars.
Plus
Team
guest
Smart
stars.
and Beautiful and Jealous.
Yeah. Team Smart, Beautiful, and others. All right, so you'll have to refresh my memory as well. Rem was the one physically staking out the manor.
Yep.
Did someone stay behind with you, Rem?
I don't
think
recall. Yeah, I think
Giles
Giles
did.
was
Okay,
with me the
It
first
was
time at least.
not Ulric.
I remembered somebody did. Yeah, I knew it wasn't Ulric. I thought somebody did, but I couldn't quite remember who. And the rest of you retired to a room for the night.
I feel a little
comped
bad about
room
that,
For the
honestly.
night.
I don't.
Well, I mean, it is supposed to be a stealth mission, and the more people
We're
that hang
professionals.
around, the less stealthy it becomes.
Yeah, but we get to chill and sleep in actual beds, whereas Rim's stuck on the street all night in the cold.
She'll be fine.
Comes with the territory.
Her and her 17 hit points will be fine.
14.
17 hit points.
It's 17 actually.
Okay.
Wow.
I looked it up again.
Oh, you lied to me.
Yep.
It is 17 hit points. How do you have 17 hit? Oh, you do. Oh, you poor
Con
creature.
5.
Con of 5.
Con 5. Okay.
Remember how
Due to
sickly this
illnesses.
character is?
Yes, I do. All right. So we will go ahead and pick up from, we're going to say the next morning because nothing's going to happen that night. I can guarantee you that. So Rem and Giles, you spend an evening hanging out within line of sight of this manor. As the lights sort of pop on and off in the houses around you, as folks come home and then go to bed, you actually don't see any of the lights inside the manor in question. It seems absolutely perfectly still from your vantage point. You haven't seen any movement in or out of the house since Orin popped in, and otherwise it's totally uneventful. The inn crew, you had a meal and a nap, so you guys are perfectly rested and feeling great. Not so much Rem and Giles.
That must be wonderful, feeling absolutely perfectly rested.
So I'll let you guys pick up from there.
So the question is, are we meeting at the mansion, or are we waiting at the place we're staying for Rem and Giles to return?
Did we ever decide?
We'll probably come back.
Yeah. Well, our goal was to camp this place out until we saw the person going into it leave. I
Sure.
don't think we saw that though, right?
Nope. We did not.
So yeah, Orin, our plan was also to hinging on the fact that he would leave in the morning, and unless we see him leave in the morning, I think we should stay there for a little bit longer, if possible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Lily's gonna come down wearing her new clothes, which includes a trench coat. Because trench coats are awesome.
Oh god.
Yeah.
So they haven't shown up yet, which means presumably they're waiting for us to go to them.
I was under the impression that they were going to stay until Orin left, and then they would come and retrieve us.
Yep. So he hasn't yet, and we decide if we just let him sit there all day or we go.
Well, I really have no preference in the matter. While I would prefer not to leave Rem and Giles sitting there all day waiting,
one of them anyway.
I respect their
please.
I respect their expertise. If they get tired of waiting, they can always return.
Yeah, or just send one of them. There are two of them there.
Indeed, and if we all show up wondering where they are, then we could easily disrupt their operation. Which I imagine they would not thank us for. Nobody likes an incompetent.
But then why is Giles there?
Lily just sends Ulric a bemused smile. So, I think we should wait. And if Orin never leaves, they will return when they see fit. And if he does, they will return when he does. That, I think, is the best thing we can do so that we don't mess anything up. I'd hate for them to have wasted their time.
So what you're saying is that we should stay here, eat, drink, and be merry until they return.
Well, I agree
We don't
with
hear
this.
from them in a few hours. I'm just gonna poke my head up there, look down the alley, make sure they're still in one piece. But
I suppose that's also wise.
That is indeed agreeable. Would you prefer to go alone for the sake of,
I think all three of us would be a little much, and that, again, just a glance down the road.
Indeed, perhaps one person at least following from a distance, just in case something did happen to them. It would prevent something happening to the person we send to check on them.
I think that's more than a few safeguards needed. I think if we send one person to look after them, and within, say, 10 minutes they're not back, then we know something has happened.
I prefer to prevent something happening.
Well, if they don't show up, that means something's already happened.
I'm with Ulric on this. If I don't come back from checking on them, then you can safely confirm that something happened to them and to me.
Well, if you're sure. And Lily is going to sit at a table, order breakfast, and work on deciphering her mother's journal.
Alrighty.
In plain view of everybody.
I mean, it's not like anybody else can decipher it. It looks like gibberish and jumbled nonsense.
The heck are those?
The
numbers?
hubris
Exactly
is
magic.
The hubris in this one is so much.
It looks like gibberish, and it's in multiple different languages, and it's
That looks
like encoded
magical.
7 different ways.
I'm just saying,
not my
pulling
business.
out top secret stuff in the middle of a shady bar is not always the best thing.
I mean, she's got her back to a wall. And again, if she can't decipher it, nobody else can. That's for damn sure.
Okay.
Alright. So the inn is basically sitting on their hands and having some supper. Rem and Giles, for your part, as you spend the early morning hours drowsily watching the house across the way, eventually there is a small bit of activity when a crew of gnomes carrying some fairly sizable planks of wood and what looks to be a bag that faintly jingles as they pass by you. It's not the happy jingle of coins. It is more the sort of the heavy clank of iron on iron as the bag bounces on the hip of one of the gnomes. They go up to the gate, and it takes two of them, but they do manage to get it pushed open enough to sort of squeeze their way in with their wood and go up to the door.
Do they look like willing servants?
Do they look like what? I'm sorry?
Do they look like employees, I should say?
Employees?
Or do they look like forced labor?
No,
Like they were press ganged into it.
No. These people look more like they're employees. You don't see any. You don't see any branding on them for one. Not that they get terribly close, but yeah, you don't see any obvious, slave collar or any brand that would give you any indication that they belong to somebody. They all carry tools of some variety, which generally enforced labor would not have. Giles, what are you doing?
I was messing around with something. I was reading it just in case.
Okay.
I accidentally hit the wrong
Giles,
button.
God damn it. Yeah,
Gnomes that aren't slaves? They must die!
They all seem to be carrying some form of tool belt or tool case. And in general, you don't arm your forced labor. So, yeah, they seem to be free somewhat. Whether they're employees of the manor itself or employees of some third party, you're not real sure. But they appear to be free craftsmen who approach the door of the manor, and after what seems to be forever, it does open. It doesn't open all the way, so you can't truly see who opened it all. You get a sort of a flash of purple as the gnomes squeeze their way in with their wood and bags of heavy metal. And the door is shut quickly thereafter. And that is the only bit of activity that you see that morning.
And the gnomes leave afterwards?
You haven't seen the gnomes come back out.
Okay.
Well, like they're probably working on something in there.
Yeah, more people in the house is not a good thing for us, though.
How about we switch off shifts? I can go back and tell other people to go, because I don't know about you, but I'm pretty tired.
Yeah. Yes. This would be nice. I could use a nap.
Okay. Well, I will go back and send 2 more people to replace us, and then you can come back to make sure that we haven't missed anything that's happening. Does that sound good?
All right. Go ahead. I'll be here.
All right. Giles makes his way back to the bar.
All right. You can come.
Anything new?
Yep.
Well, the only thing that's happened is that there were gnomes that quickly went into the building. It looks like they were somehow employed by Orin or whoever lives in there to do something, and strangely enough, the door only opened quick enough to let them in. It seemed to shut rather quickly. However, we've been up for quite a long time, and we want this mission to be any sort of success.
We shouldn't have brought you along. I get it. You can go home. We'll take care of things from here.
Giles,
No.
if I may, before we go and relieve Rem and allow you and to gain a bit of rest, if I might ask just a few questions. First, what made you say the gnomes were employees rather than guests?
Well, they were carrying in like boards and like stuff that looked like they were going to be working on some either woodwork or metalwork. I don't know. Rem
So,
was
like-
the one that pointed this out.
So likely construction then.
Maybe, probably.
And a swiftly shutting door. I don't know what that says to all of you, but to me it says that somebody has something to hide.
There is also some sort of purple flash, right, Erie?
Yeah, that was basically the only thing you could make out. You couldn't really see who opened the door. You just got like a little bit of purple in the crack is all you got.
And by
Oh, so it wasn't
flash-
like light.
No, it wasn't like a light. It wasn't like a firework flash or anything. It was just that's the brief glimpse you got inside the house. Was just that little bit of purple.
Never mind then. That's not important.
Alright, well... Who should replace Giles and Rem then?
I can do it.
I really don't care.
I think...
And Ulric's coming with me because I can't leave the other two here. We can't leave them here together.
No, I definitely agree.
I definitely agree.
Perhaps also say set up somewhat different so that it doesn't look like a shift change.
Yeah, of course.
Alrighty, well, there will be food and drink when you get back.
Okay. Well,
Giles, allow me to buy you breakfast, as well as Rem as soon as she returns. It's the least
Oh.
I could do.
thank you. That
I think
is-
Giles should be the one buying Rem breakfast, considering he's the one that pushed out first.
No.
Bring it
Right,
on.
Ulrich, let's go.
All right.
Lily is going to order breakfast and some form and fashion of drink for Giles, and then also order one for Rem, since fairly good odds that Rem's going to be following along in the next 10 minutes or so.
Something like that.
All right. So the shift change is not a shift change. Is underway. So we have Ulric and Nika
Mhm.
going to relieve Rem, allowing her to return back to the inn.
Before we complete this shift change, I'd like to pull everybody off to the side somewhere, near the manor, where we're all together, except for Lily. Well, that was just circumstance. But I'd like to say,
It looks like they have more and more people coming to this manor, and if we don't see anything soon, we might miss our chance to act.
You think
Yes.
tonight will be too late?
I'm not sure, but we should set a time. I'm not sure what your timeline is, Ulric.
I say if nothing comes up by midnight tonight, we go in.
Very well. This is your mission. I'll just need some time to nap first.
Of course. Get well rested. I will hand her a coin, a gold piece, a whole gold piece to buy breakfast with.
Wow.
That's not patronizing at all.
Gold
It's
piece
not.
is a lot of money.
I mean, it's not. I like money.
I know.
Take that, rest up, and, well, midnight, you'll either hear from us or be back here by midnight, and we'll continue with the second phase.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay.
Guess we'll go back.
All right. So
So,
now
yeah,
we've got Nika and Ulric setting up to survey the manor. You guys want to do a stealth check just for funsies?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spend a superiority die to fix that up a little bit.
And I'm guessing
I
this
can
stealth
do
check is
that.
less how much you can hide in the shadows, but
Michael,
how well.
what die are superiority dice? I forgot.
D8.
Excellent.
I thought
thank
it was
you.
only on attack.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Scouts get different things.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can add them
okay.
to different rolls that I'm proficient in.
Um.
There we go. 22
but-
is much better.
Yeah, and that stealth is how well they blend, less and how well they hide. I'm assuming.
Well, granted, yeah, it's about blending into the crowd. It's less about, or how closely they're sticking to the shadows and, yeah, nonchalant. It's not exactly a performance because they're not attempting to interact with others or convince them of others, or convince others of things. It's just
Trying to be unnoticed.
not being seen. Yeah, being as inconspicuous as possible. And Ulric is doing a bang-up job.
Maybe he should try a performance. He's pretty good at those.
That would draw attention to him. That's up to you, Ulric. It's still midday. I mean, it hasn't hit noon, so there's not a whole lot of people on the street. This is, again, while you are very close to the inns and the lady favors houses, this particular street is very residential. So you don't see a whole lot of cross traffic. You're just very close to some. So there's not a whole lot of people to interact with. Other than, of course, Nika, who is desperately trying to be nonchalant and...
With the 22, doing okay.
Yeah! Oh, no. Just,
Yeah.
it would kind of blow your cover if Ulric decided to strike up a conversation with you as you have so masterfully blended into your surroundings.
No, shoo!
So, as you watch the
I'm
days...
sorry, I totally left my mic off that entire time.
I wondered, you'd be awfully quiet. We were trash talking you.
I know, I'm sitting there talking back the whole time. Thera was disguised as a vagrant, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Ulric might do the same. Take a quick walk around a block or two, gather random bits, muddy himself, steal a bit of cloth here, dig out of a trash can there, come back with a disguise.
Use your disguise kit roll. There you go.
Hey!
That's how you do it.
There you go. So
He may draw
mocked
notice,
up.
but he looks like a vagrant.
You mocked yourself up as a vagrant, and Nika is sort
I
of
imagine she
pressed
sort of
into the
looked at the
shadows.
most empty-looking building and was like, I'll just pretend I'm guarding this.
Yeah, just sort of blending in, being nonchalant. So the day wears on, and as mentioned, not a whole lot of foot traffic in this particular area until it gets towards the evening and folks do start to wander home. The gnomish crew that Rem and Giles saw come in this morning do leave approximately sunset, a little before sunset, so they can get home before nightfall. Significantly less burdened by wood and clanking iron as they scuttle their way out of the barely open door to allow their passage. And then it gets shut, not with a slam, but definitely with some finality as they leave, as they sort of whisper amongst themselves, scuttling their way down the passage past the overgrown topiary and out the iron gate, closing it carefully behind them, and scurrying on down the way.
How close are they from where
I was
Ulric
about
is
to ask.
pretending to be a hobo?
Well, you guys set a Rem, I should say, set up kind of towards the corner, so she wasn't directly across from the manor, but still had it within eyesight, within 30 feet.
Because I'm thinking Ulric might need to pretend to go ask for alms and listen in on these whispers.
Okay, you're going to ask alms of the gnomes themselves?
Of course.
Okay. Roll performance.
Hey, charisma rogue.
Yeah.
So you approach this little, there's three of them, this little knot of gnomes.
Knot of gnomes. That's great.
A knot of gnomes as they travel in this tightly bunched pack. As you approach, one of them looks up. It looks, they all look fairly disturbed. Like they're kind of frantically whispering amongst them. This isn't the usual end of the day sort of, gonna go get a pint type of chatter. Like these guys seem kind of rattled.
That's why I wanted to listen to what they were saying.
Do you speak Gnomish?
Of course not. That would be. Oh wait.
Okay.
Nope. I speak no.
So you hear them whispering, and again, you're close enough, and they don't hear your approach, so you can hear them whispering, and you can get sort of the frantic nature, but you can't exactly get the subject matter of their conversation. And the one that you speak to, he looks at you blankly for a moment before fumbling with his coin purse and pulling out 2 coppers and sort of pressing them into your hand with his tiny little fingers, and giving you the briefest flash of a smile before kind of bundling up with his brethren once again and scurrying off in the opposite direction. The frantic whispers become more and more like an argument the further they get away, but it's still in Gnomish, so.
Damn. Well, I'll go back to where I was.
2
and go
copper,
harumph.
Richard.
Woo, yeah, that's how you do it.
Once the knot of gnomes has left, they are out of sight, having turned some corner down the way. The lights in the surrounding houses pop on as the sun sinks lower. No light yet from the manor house itself, even as its neighbors all have lanterns in the windows and are clearly lit. This one still stands dark. And there's no further movement in or out.
Well, Ulric will sit and wait and expect that sometime soon there's going to be a break-in.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Lily has no idea that midnight, like if nothing happens by midnight, it's go time.
Yeah, and I don't
Hopefully the
think we
others
would have
told
told you.
Yeah, like
I think we're
everybody.
just gonna be like, why aren't you ready? It's like midnight. We need to go.
Nobody trusts Lily because she's the least professional, technically. She doesn't belong to our organization.
I mean, you're not wrong on both accounts, but like Rem grabbed food and left, and Giles didn't say anything, so Lily has no idea that anything's going down. Luckily, she always spends a good amount of time burning the midnight oil.
All right. So Rem and Giles, you guys get your rest. So you've gotten your long rest. Night creeps in. Still no movement from the house. And it is definitely getting on to the midnight hour with no movement or lights from the manor.
Well, probably like 11:30-ish. I guess Rem and I will meet downstairs and
Look around for Lily,
upon
being
Lily
like, wait,
that
why
we
is
need
she
to,
here?
get going.
Yeah, Lily is still at the table burning the midnight oil, as is her wont. Oh. Hello.
Hey, we're heading out. We're gonna go break into that place. You want to come?
Yes,
we're
yes,
leaving
yes,
in
yes.
like
Let me just
2 minutes.
pack up my books. I am. Yes. And Lily will rush and pack up her books, pack away her notes, like put a cap on her ink bottle and clean off the quill nub and like tuck everything away in her bag. Very efficiently. She's used to moving quickly. ready.
Then let's go.
Alrighty then. Let's see how much Ulric has screwed this up.
Okay, so we all meet up once again at the corner of inconspicuousness with Ulric dressed as a vagrant and Nika nonchalantly standing by. It is now full dark. You can hear mild revelry going on in the streets behind you, but the actual residential street that you're looking at is absolutely stone silent.
Any sign of anything?
Gnomes left.
That's good, at least.
They were perturbed about something. I tried to listen, but, well, they were speaking gnomish.
Well, this is painting a very odd picture of Orin, if I do say so myself.
Just a bit. The man's kind of quirky, from what I've heard. All those artsy types tend to be.
I think perhaps we should be on our guard. Something about all of this sets me ill at ease.
I'm thinking one of two things. Either Orin isn't home, and he has construction crews taking care of things for him, or he is, and he's busy hiding out in whatever location is still being constructed while taking care of things we would rather he not be taking care of.
Unless he left elsewhere. Assuming that you guys didn't see him coming out this entrance, then he's still in there.
Yeah, well,
I think that probably a subsection of us should see actually go into the courtyard or go around the building and see if there's any other entrances or exits that we can break into or that he might have left from.
And considering this might be the home of Amramarin, we should always be prepared for the possibility of secret passages. He
Good
may
point.
be there, and he very well may not. We are... Furthermore, this place could easily be completely trapped with various mundane vices.
Well, if that's the case, give me a second. I need to prepare.
While she does that, one quick procedural question for the two of you, since this is your mission. If someone sees us, do you want us to bolt, or do you want us to handle the problem?
If we run, then we will not have another opportunity.
So handle it. Got it.
Gotcha.
Not something you want to be asking in the middle of it, so.
Indeed, quietly as possible would be preferred.
Don't
Best.
you worry, Lily. This crew... most of this crew understands how to take care of things perfectly.
We have experience.
You don't need to
in
put
this.
yourself down like that, Ulric. Jeez, I'm sure you're at least semi-competent.
In the meantime, Rem will see if she can find somewhere with a little bit of privacy, maybe like a back alley somewhere, make a small incision on her thigh, and then take out a patch full of Necronova and apply it there.
Alrighty.
And then come back to the group, no longer limping, looking chipper, if anything, and saying, let's go.
Before we actually move on... Nope! Everything seems fine.
You're insight checking Rem?
I was insight checking Rem. Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary there at all.
Well,
Thrill of the heist.
He's just focusing up.
Yeah, that's what Lily assumes is Rem just needed to focus a bit, slap her cheeks, get herself in the right mindset.
I mean, Nika knows about this.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Giles would probably know about this too, but...
yeah, I would imagine, and Ulric even to some extent. Like, I mean, Iron Creep isn't unknown in Lorehold, and it's fairly common. Not so much in town itself, but it's a fairly common malady, and its signs are pretty unmistakable. Lily wouldn't have much of an indication, not being from here, but anyone that lives, works, or was born in and around Lorehold is aware. It's not
Well-
something that's openly talked about, but yeah,
Well,
it's pretty unmistakable.
Well, Lily and Rim have discussed her condition, and Lily did recognize it from Sia's condition, but
Yeah,
she's unaware of the treatment that Rim
yeah.
is using for
Lily
it.
wouldn't have vast knowledge of it, no, because it's just not. It's really, really prevalent in Lorehold and most other mining communities. So you'd see it a lot on other continents. Rika is another area where you see it a lot. But coming from the southern continent, it's not something that is as common there.
Yeah. So, how are we going to go about this?
Finding other entrances would be nice, although, based on our stakeout, I didn't see any.
All right. Well, who will be going on that expedition?
I'll take a look.
Okay.
I think I will wait for our actual incursion, considering my...
Being able to stand below the windowsills is an advantage.
Additionally, my expertise lies in areas other than stealth, and I would like to minimize my impact until the actual incursion where my expertise might come to be necessary.
Understood. We get it, you're a nerd.
We've dealt with nerds. We know it.
Hey,
Raise
Giles,
eye-
wanna go with her? In case she needs somebody to look through a window?
I can boost myself up.
I can go. I can probably see better than her as well.
That's
All right. So what are you guys doing?
Yes,
gonna get real
necking
close to
in.
the building to see if there's any sort of, odd crevices or
Yeah.
seams that we wouldn't have noticed during the sneak out.
We'll kind of do a perimeter check.
Yeah.
To see if there's any
Okay.
of interest.
Well, again, reminding, there is a massive wrought iron gate
Oh, yeah.
and fencing that surrounds the manor. So far, you've only seen the front of it with the massive gates. They are pretty close. The bars are pretty closely spaced. They are topped with spikes, as you would expect from your standard issue Gothic wrought iron setup. But they don't look to be particularly impenetrable, just real tall. So if you approach from the front, obviously you're going to run into that. Now, you did see the gnomes go into the gate without much resistance. They were able to push it open. So that's not a concern. And Nika, from your vantage point, you also saw them leave through that wrought iron gate. And it opened just fine, and they closed it behind them without appearing to stop and relock it or anything like that. So it's probably unlocked. But as of right now, it is shut.
I'll just pretend to be a drunkard, Giles, and lean on that gate a little.
I have been waiting for this opportunity to perform like this all my life.
You better roll a perform then.
Hopefully no one's watching that perform check. We'll see.
Ooh, is you could perform.
No, he's just really drunk.
Could also be that.
I learned it from watching you, Dad.
So you kind of
Welcome to substance abuse, the heist.
you steady yourself a bit on the gate, and it's slightly rusted, but it does move pretty easily. It's not locked.
Oopsie daisy. Yeah. So if that didn't really attract any sort of attention.
No, there's really nobody on the street right now, and while the houses both across the way and on either side of the manor do have lights on, a few, in the upper reaches, most of the street is pretty quiet.
I'll motion to Nika, right? Nika's coming, right?
No, well,
Or is it Rem? I'll motion to Nika and be like, hey, we're good.
we'll follow.
Alright. So now you guys are in the yard itself. At one point it was probably really beautiful and well kept, but it's starting to get an overgrown look to it. The topiaries are less shaped like animals or anything identifiable and more just sort of artistically trimmed, but they're starting to grow out a little bit, so they've got little sprigs popping out everywhere. There are flowers that line the walkway that are definitely in need of some TLC, but they're still there. They're still hanging on. The yard appears to wrap around both sides of the house, as does the continuation of the wrought iron fence. There is a porch that extends across the front door, supported by pillars, and the front door itself seems even more sort of massive now as when you were across the street. It definitely goes the length of the first floor. It is a massive double oak set of doors, and there's something light written across it. Looks like ash, maybe, or chalk. That's actually been written on the door from your vantage.
And it says...
Well,
Yeah.
let's take a step back and say that we're like being stealthy.
Yeah,
Doing
no,
all
I was
this.
just wondering if that's something you can squint and see from the gate.
You'd have to get a little closer to it.
Gotcha.
It's not a large enough lettering. You can see where it's been written, but it's not large enough lettering that you can get a sense of what it says yet.
Yeah.
Well, let's sneaky sneak.
All right, sneak.
Okay. We are
Stealth rolls, please.
Oh boy.
no.
Sitting there for that long have counted as a short rest. Not that I'm going to be the one dragging down the party from the look of it.
Yes,
Nope,
I will give you a short rest, but yeah, you're fine. Giles is having some difficulty though.
Just keep pretending to be a drunkard
Giles?
and run
No.
away.
He keeps
Oh,
muttering
wow.
under his breath about how he can't
Yeah, he's
believe
just
that
saying,
he's being forced to
"Ulric,
work with Ulric.
Ulric."
I can't believe I have to work with Ulric. Why? Why him? Worst. Dragging us all down.
Okay, so you make your way across the yard, up to the front door.
Yeah, why not?
Correct. Okay.
Yeah. While sort of motioning to Ulric, like, to keep pretending to be drunk and maybe go the other way. Or Giles, sorry, they're the same person.
They're basically the same person.
Basically. Now that you're closer, you can see what was scrawled on the tightly shut door, and it says Limpy was here. I will put that in chat.
Limpy was here.
Was here. And it is not, again, it's not carved. It's something that's actually been chalked onto the door, and you can see where some of the lettering is starting to fade, but it's definitely still there.
What the hell is Limpy?
Right. Well, I believe our original plan was not to go through the front door anyway.
Yeah.
So, it's time to start circling around to the side and try to process what we just read.
Yep.
All right. So as you sort of skulk your way around the corner, again being mindful that there are neighbors. There's an easement between the ending of the wrought iron fence of the manor and the surrounding fence of the neighbor. There's a good 20-foot easement between them, so you do have some space, but there are neighboring houses on either side. As late as it is, the light seemed to be minimal. There's not much of a light being cast upon the manor that you're skulking around, but it is something to consider, to keep in mind.
You mentioned there were hedges. About how tall are those?
The hedges are only in the front yard. They're
Gotcha.
big topiaries. They themselves are about 8 foot tall, but they're only in the front yard. Once you get to the side yards, it's just grass, fence, and wall of the manor, the stone wall of the manor. There's no coverage here.
Okay. In which case, I just take a quick look down the side to see if there are windows down the side of the,
Okay.
like on the first floor on that side.
Yes, there are several windows that go the length of the first floor as well as the second, from what you can see, but you don't see any lights on in any of them.
Sort of make a motion at Giles, like where you want to go in from.
Sorry. Well, let's first make sure that nobody's really looking from the other windows, so, kind of want to just keep watch.
Ooh.
I don't know.
You do the not watching stuff. I got the watching stuff.
Sorry. Alright, cool. Alright. So does there appear to be any windows or anything around that are like close to the ground level, near the back, like away from the sides, main street, that we could probably find an ingress point into that's not completely visible from the street?
The windows that you can see are the ones that are going to be closest to the street. As you kind of look down the wall, the closer you get to the backyard, there aren't any windows that you can see. It's mostly towards the front end of the house where you see larger windows. There are also 2 large windows on the front porch.
Yeah.
And these are glass. Like they do have glass in them.
Yeah.
As an upper class home, all of these windows do have glass panes, but you can't see inside of them.
Anything around back?
I'm gonna head around back.
Yeah.
Okay. Nika, for your perception roll, while the house across the easement does have their upper light on, you don't see any movement up above, so they don't seem to be watching you.
I'll motion Giles to keep looking around the back then.
All right. So you come around back, and again, you've got the same wrought iron fence. There's an easement on the other side of it that leads into effectively darkness. So whether there's another home back there, it's just so far back you can't see, or if that leads on in perpetuity, you're not real sure. But on your side of the fence, there is a window almost immediately around the corner. There's also a wooden door. This is much smaller than the front doors. It's more of a standard issue, sort of 6x5 kind of door.
Okay.
And there seems to be another window further down, closer to the bend around the other side. One thing you notice, especially Nika in particular, is the glass that covered this window is broken.
Well.
But you still can't see inside. It's just one kind of pane towards the bottom out of the 4-pane window. And it looks like the upper part might have been repaired recently. Looks like somebody's been resetting glass.
Well, I think that coming in through the back over here is probably be a little bit more beneficial than breaking in through the front door.
But if they just got broke into there, they might have something set up.
Well, maybe that's what the gnomes were working on this, or like this area back here.
Yeah.
We can always try the door.
Well, we should let the others know someone broke in first.
Okay. Well, I
Maybe
think
one
one
of
of us
them
should
knows
probably
is
stay
limpy.
here. One of us should go back. I don't really mind whichever.
I'll go for it. I'm low to the ground.
Okay.
All right, you gonna stuff your way back up front.
Yep.
All right.
And I'm gonna
Oh.
throw a superiority die on that.
All right.
Because that's real bad.
Okay. So you stealth your way, quote unquote, up back through the front the way you came. Again, you still don't see anybody on the street. So your stealth seems to be successful. There's no movement or lights on in the manor still. Everything looks as it did on your first pass through. And you can meet up with your group unmolested.
I will convey everything that you conveyed.
Into the back? Is that the plan?
Yeah, not the same
Yes.
window. I think that would be a mistake. But
The
Likely.
broken one. The broken one, you mean?
yeah.
Quite possibly.
And that's like
You
when
have-
someone leaves their wallet just laying there.
Absolutely, absolutely. The question is, are the windows that are not broken latched?
We're
And
gonna
if
find out,
so,
aren't we?
do you have some method of opening the latches?
do.
Otherwise,
I think most of us do.
I look
here.
around at every single person here and
Yeah, everyone
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
Sophie
but
seems to
but,
us.
but window.
Are you
window
familiar
latches-
with what we do for a living?
most houses and most window latches have very, very specialized. Would require some sort of specialized tool. Your standard
well,
lockpick would not work.
Lily,
We got
please
this.
stop embarrassing me.
I was saying is there are alternatives if you cannot.
This is true, but with 4 of us here that are specialized in this sort of thing. Yes, I
think we
said
can
4.
manage.
Yes.
You happened to say it while Giles wasn't there, so that he didn't have to hear it.
Exactly right.
somewhere off in the distance, Giles gets like a chill running down his spine, like, ugh, that doesn't sound right.
Very well. I bow to your expertise.
And now for lots and lots of stealth rolls.
Here we go.
Luckily,
Hey,
I at
Ulric,
least don't
you should
have
put the help
disadvantage.
action on Lily.
My
never mind, he'll
God.
help. Oh my
Oh,
God.
that didn't. That would not have helped.
No.
Holy
Oh God.
shit.
Lily, actually,
Question: is this a group stealth?
I think.
No.
Yeah.
This is not a group stealth.
Can we say that we didn't go across as a group? Because that would be a bad idea.
Right.
Like one by one. Because then Lily can turn around and we can pretend this never happened as she walks back to the inn.
Well, no, because according
we need her in
according to
there.
rules of DM, you stealth. You just do it as best you can. There's no, oh shit, that was a bad roll. I decided not to do that.
No, there is. I'm halfway across the lawn. Time to pull an Ulric, pretend to be drunk, and go back.
All right.
That was bad.
That was bad.
Here I was congratulating myself on not having disadvantage.
Nope. Well. So
Still
the,
true, wouldn't have made much of a difference.
The caravan makes its way through the yard. Lily tripping at least once as the others sort of rush to pick her up and usher her around. A bit of a flailing of robes and books and clatter. No lights appear in the manor still. There appears to be no reaction from the house. Street is still quiet enough. No one's attention seems drawn. You appear to have gotten away with it. As you
Turns out this
cluster
place has been empty the whole time.
on the back end of the house.
Wow, that
Yeah,
was
I like this
embarrassing.
song. I think it's great.
Oh, yeah, it's really good. But it does mean we're going to take off the window and just be staring at a dragon.
I don't know why it's repeating, but I think it's awesome.
So. Yes, she did.
Accidentally.
She accidentally magicked in a null magic zone.
Hate it when
She's
that
actually had
happens.
the dragon orb this whole time.
Also took a
Alright, which
level in
window
wild
you wanna-
magic.
Broken or the
Which
non-broken?
window you guys? Let's go with the non-broken.
Or the door.
Actually, I guess if they haven't fixed the broken one yet. I don't know.
Yeah, one again, it looks like somebody has been working on it because it's just one pane that's missing. But that
Gotcha.
pane is jagged. It looks like somebody put their fist or something else through it. But the other panes appear to have been worked on recently.
So for the windows that are not broken, do they look like something that one of the four of us, could possibly try to open from outside?
Try to open the window from outside. You can. I mean, the
Yeah.
hole is large enough. You could put a hand through it, especially a smaller hand.
But the unbroken ones, though?
The unbroken ones.
Like, is the latch the kind that can be triggered
Oh, I see.
from
You don't see
outside?
a latch.
Gotcha. Do they look like they're the kind of thing you can just, like, take the frame out?
Possibly.
Like, pull
Yeah.
the whole damn window out?
Possibly.
That's what I'm thinking.
4 of us doing that.
Yeah, each person take one corner.
We'll
Lily
take
is
the
going-
bottom corners.
Lily is gonna keep a lookout since she's failed at anything regarding stealth.
And
a-
apparently lookouting.
She is a good lookout.
Alright, let's do this.
Hey, Ulric, help me out with this. Specifically,
Can
I know
do.
you have help.
Okay. All right.
That's what help is for.
Yep. All kinds of help going on here. So you guys sort of attack this window
Acha!
with thieves' tools, and the putty and everything around the glass is still fairly pliable. Like this is a very recent repair. So between the three of you all working on it, you are able to remove the 3 unbroken panes of glass and remove without injuring yourself the busted, jagged remnants of the bottommost pane. The problem is when you go to reach through, your knuckles hit solid wood.
Maybe if
What? So we can see
we
the
see
wood,
if
right?
there's like this is like a piece of plywood that's like
This is something.
nailed
Yeah,
to
this
it?
is not a latched shutter. There's no line to indicate that it opens out. There's no hinges or latch mechanism that you can discern. It feels like someone has boarded over a window.
okay. I just
I-
didn't know if it was
We
like
should try
boarded
looking
over or
for-
if there was just something
through
like
the windows
heavy. that
first,
you
next
put-
time.
No, it feels attached to the wood, like somebody has sunk.
I thought we
nails
were going
into
for a
this.
different window.
Yeah, I thought we were
Oh!
going for the one that wasn't broken.
Oh, you're going for the unbroken window on the other side?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were trying to remove that one entirely.
Okay, that's fine. I misunderstood. You can definitely move that one with your scores. Although that one has not been recently broken, so it's a little more difficult. There is wood on the other side of this one too, but it's a more conventional latch shutter.
And we thieves' tools that out of existence?
You can thieves' tools that out of existence, yes.
We're 4 rogues. We can thieves tool anything out of existence.
Ulric, would you like to do the honors?
Accidentally thieves tools the house out of existence.
I will. I'll step back and let Giles do it, and use a help action. And
Okay.
this way, if he fails, I can make fun of him, and if he succeeds, I can take the credit.
Fair.
Alrighty, go ahead.
But you get advantage, so good
Giles.
on you.
Trying to figure out a way that I win this.
I don't think
There is one.
Yeah, I know.
Barding is fun. You can
Oh, well.
makes rolls like this so much easier.
All right, whatever. I'll just do it.
Come on. Good enough. You are able to disengage the latch enough that you can push open the shutters. You meet some resistance. There seems to be some kind of curtain or cloth just beyond the shutters, but you're able to push them open and sort of move that cloth aside enough that you all could get in fairly easily.
Sneaky sneak now.
Okay.
So much sneaking.
So does that mean we get to re-roll our stealth checks?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
you
thank
can-
God.
You sure you don't want to stay out here and play lookout, Lily?
No, we're going to need her when we find, well, whatever it is we're looking for. Assuming
Oh,
whatever it
God!
is what we want.
God,
Damn it,
what
Lily.
the fuck? How does that happen?
This is why we never work with people who
I-
aren't professionals.
I do
Professionals.
believe I
Fucking
Please tell me
mentioned
this
this
is
is
a
how it was
group
going
check.
to go.
Please tell me
Holy
this is a group
shit.
check.
No, seriously. How does that happen? I've never
You know what,
rolled
this
so
does-
poorly with
I will
Lily
say
before.
this is very thematically appropriate.
Yeah, this is us.
This is why we don't bring amateurs in on a heist.
I gave you an out. I gave you an out.
So I'm guessing Lily, as she's going through the window, her foot catches and just face plants on the ground.
Did someone roll dex to catch her? Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, as she stands up, I don't believe any of you have the requisite expertise to know what exactly we're looking for.
Okay. So, yes,
Nika?
you all clamber through the window, past the drapes. Go ahead.
I would like to task you with babysitting her.
Oh God, don't do this to me. I'll try.
Appreciate your sacrifice.
I'm gonna sort of pull Lily to the back of the group and just, motion. Don't touch anything. Don't walk anywhere we don't tell you to walk. And be quiet.
Lily at this point is really, really missing magic. And Nautilus. Magic and Nautilus.
Okay. So as you sort of gather yourselves on the other side of the window, helping Lily through and getting her back to rights, as she face plants herself on the interior. You are standing in somebody's dining room. The curtains that you have pushed through are very heavy, dark green, velvet or velveteen, something along those lines. They are much taller and much wider than the window themselves. These are designed to be blackout curtains, effectively. And
Vampires.
they do their job very well. Yeah. The dining room is fairly nice. It's open, pretty large, decently appointed, but not currently set for anything. There is, as you stand with your back to the window, there is a door off to your right. And there's also one directly in front of you. Both are just appear to be standard wooden interior doors, and they are both shut at the moment.
I motioned everybody to just sort of hold for like a minute, because if somebody got alerted, might as well find out while we're close to the road.
Okay, if you want to do a perception.
I do.
May I assist?
Yes.
Actually, can I assist you?
That works too.
Perception status.
Okay.
You know what?
15.
It's a
That's fair.
good thing you got the assist.
You hear.
I should have rolled.
You definitely hear a noise, but it seems to be above you rather than in front of you.
Like footsteps or.
It's hard to tell. It could be footsteps. It also sounds like there might be some furniture movement. Something
That's
heavy
somehow
being
worse.
dragged.
Well,
So
it's
relay
probably
that. So
nowhere
there's...
here.
Well, we'll see.
You could
Random
always put
noises in the
window back
night
in
can
and come
always.
back.
Random noises in the night aren't always a sign of a break-in. No, it's probably a safe assumption here.
I just look over at like the plates and all the like table like carnage that Lily
Mhm.
caused as she tripped through the window.
Let's get to searching,
yeah.
and hopefully we can avoid this person. I don't think we're gonna be able to get out clean, though.
Yes, well.
I'll stay by the door then.
If nothing else, if they're constructing anything, it's probably something down below and not up above, so we might not even come across whoever's moving furniture up there.
So what you're saying is we should split up and look for clues.
Well, whatever it is we're
Well-
looking for will likely be on the ground floor, or at least the entrance will be.
Okay. So
Alright.
which direction would you like to go?
Well, first I want to investigate this room for anything hidden, like secret passages or doors to the basement, stuff like that.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation.
Hey! Finally she's starting to
Yay!
shine.
That's why we keep you. Unless there's nothing here.
In
Uh,
which
Which
case,
isn't
we
useful.
never should have brought you.
In which case it looks like you're just being paranoid.
So, Lily begins her investigation of the dining room. You don't find any secret doors or anything cool and awesome like that. You do note that the dishes that are kept in here are very old, which is not technically that surprising given the section of Lorehold that you're in. So many of these homes are supposedly original to the city, although it's not super verifiable. But yeah, everything here is very, very old. And even the silverware and the candelabra and things that have been stashed to one side are very high quality and very, very old and well worn. But
Wow.
you don't find any stashes or anything.
Nothing in this room. Shall we just do a room by room search?
That might take too long.
I'd hate to miss something because we were too hasty, though.
I'd
Oh.
hate to miss our opportunity because we were goofing off. I say we try to find something that looks suspicious and what we're looking for.
Or at least find somebody, because we know there's somebody else in here.
That too.
Make sure that we neutralize them, and then we can take our time.
Actually, it might be better if we do that.
I know. Wait. Did you just agree with me?
We can
Okay,
get into
moving
this
on.
later.
We really don't
Next
have
door.
time for this, gentlemen.
No.
Okay.
Always a bad thing when he
I'm
starts
going to
agreeing
the
with
next
me.
door. I'm going to the next door.
Are you going forward or are you going to the side?
To the side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go to the side, open the door.
Yes.
Okay.
Sneakily.
Can I
though.
do a perception check first?
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay.
Ear to the door.
Nothing seems out of the ordinary with the door.
Alright, jiggle the door
This-
handle.
far as you can tell. Pop it open. This door leads into a kitchen. A decently sized, about approximately the same size as the dining room. With a small eat-in table, otherwise very standard kitchen. There doesn't seem to be a fire lit in here for a very long time. You know, the wind stove seems cold. There is wood. It does seem to be relatively recent. It's not dried out or anything like that. A large pump water system, large kitchen sink. You can see that this is where the door and the window that you saw initially are located. So you see the door that leads outside to the backyard, as well as the window that was directly next to it, and that window has been boarded over. There are no curtains here in this particular window. It's just the boards. And there's a door on the south side wall that leads deeper into the house.
Ulric, do you remember in Featherstone the moving fireplace?
Unfortunately, the one that almost acided my face off.
Yes. Other than the potential for the fireplace, I don't think we need to spend any time in this room.
Oh, I'll check out the fireplace. You move on.
All right.
Yeah. I will motion to Lily to not be the one to cross the room and move on first. And go do that.
I mean,
well,
she's
Ulric checks out the fireplace.
she hadn't even made him.
Excellent.
She hadn't
operating
even
at
made a
3 crit
motion to
fails.
move because she's not dumb.
Yeah.
So she just kind of gives you a look like, really?
Nika doesn't know you're capable of pulling higher than a 2 on stealth.
Apparently.
This is fair.
She's yet to see it.
100% of the rolls have shown.
I will go with Nika being behind her.
All right. Nika, where are you headed?
I'm headed to the room that was through the kitchen that went deeper into the house.
Okay. So, again, standard interior door. Walking through, you see a massive great room. There is no further demarcation. You can tell that you're under, or at least to the side of a staircase, just judging by the handrails that you see in your periphery as you walk into this room. But the rest of the room is all one big open space. You can see the massive windows that you saw from the outside on the front porch. You can see the massive door at the far end of the room, and everything else has basically been cleared out. Its walls are lined with, again, these heavy draped massive windows, and in between them, the walls themselves hold art. Massive pictures in huge golden frames, landscapes and portraits. There is again, massive chandelier hanging from the ceiling. But everything else seems to have been pushed off to the sides, and there's nothing but an open floor. This room was definitely set up for entertainment and for holding balls and very little else.
Gotcha.
So besides what would probably be obvious as the dining room door, are there any more doors on this in this room, like on this floor?
Would the layout that we've seen so far suggest that the other door in the first room we came from also lead to this hall?
Possibly, yeah. You can't see because the stairs are in your way.
Gotcha.
There might be another room between this one and the dining room, but probably not.
The stairs. Those were stairs up or down?
Other stairs heading up.
Okay, so that's
why
possible.
that's why they're blocking your vision. Yeah, they're
All right.
They're coming from a second story, so you can't see to the far wall because they're in your way.
I'm doing like motion towards the stairs for Nika. Considering that we've worked together a lot, I imagine we have some sort of nonverbal communication.
Yeah, and we both
Down.
have thieves' camp.
So like
there's
motion
also
towards the stairs and like eyes on, and then let motion for Nika to continue searching the room.
Alright, yeah, I'll keep searching while Ren's on guard.
All right, and so you sort of come forward into the room itself, you can hear the sound of a stumble and some sort of clatter of footsteps that sound above you. And we will take a break here.
No.
And when we come back, we'll see who that belongs to.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Okay, so we're still waiting for Twinki to return, but we can continue with Nika and Rem anyway. So, Sid, where are you in all this hubbub? Are you in the kitchen with Ulric and Lily, or are you?
Right now, I was assuming that I would be kind of in the middle, like watching them and making sure I'd be the guy that'd be like, okay, we can go. Everything's kind of clear.
Okay, so you're kind of straddling the two, like you're in the doorway sort of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Nika and Rem, you guys walk forward into the great room. And now that you're...
I'm watching the stairs.
Yes, now that you're out from the wall, you can see where the stairs connect to the floor, and you can actually see on top of them now, see them lead up to the second story. And on the landing, as you hear the sort of shuffle, scrape, stomp of footsteps, you hear a voice call out, slightly slurred, "Rana? Rana, darling, it's very late. Are you... I know I said get that back to me quickly, but this is very quick, darling."
I am very quick. Thank you for noticing.
Thank you for coming back, Twinki. So coming into view on the second story landing is someone who obviously dressed himself very hastily. It is the tall elf in the purple ensemble that you saw, Rem, during your surveillance. Yes, the massive plumed hat being pretty unmistakable even in the gloom. He appears to have a goblet in one hand as he sways slightly in some unfelt breeze there, peering down and trying to collect himself as these two faces round the corner of his stairwell.
Whoops.
His vision begins to clear. So you're not Rana. Maybe two of you together, and he kind of makes a motion with both hands. Goblet's still in one of them, and he sort of swishes them together in midair and giggles at his own little joke.
I think that's a cue for one of you two to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we are not. You can go back to sleep.
Do a persuasion.
That would be the best if you got a 20.
Go.
Do it.
Come on.
Oh.
No, not even close.
That would have been awesome.
Well, it's 2 + 0 for 20, right?
Damn it, you had one chance to convince him it was a dream.
So yeah, Orin, he peers down closer. It looks like he's gonna take a step off the landing onto the top step of the stairs, but perhaps he didn't like the way it felt underneath his feet. And he brings both feet back down to the landing and leans an elbow on one of the side banister pillars, the cup with the hand with a cup in it, that arm. He leans against it. And he reaches behind his back and pulls out a pistol, which you're both very familiar with.
Dog.
Gunpowder. Gunpowder weapons are available in Lorehold, so this is not a shock to either of you. And he points it at you, muzzle slightly swaying. Who are you?
You're the first person who's asked my name for quite a while. Most people don't care about who I am.
I'm just the help.
He looks pretty drunk, right?
He's struggling. Yeah.
Yeah, as Thera's talking, I'm gonna try to inch a little bit closer.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm swapping back to my old I am frail and harmless act.
Okay. Go ahead. Roll performance.
Okay.
With advantage.
Not that it helped.
Well, at least you guys can't blame all this on Lily.
Wow.
That's true. That's true.
Get all the bad rules out now.
Can I get like an insight on him to figure out what his current like mental state is?
Yeah, you can roll an insight check on him.
That's better.
Yeah, he is clearly intoxicated. Clearly intoxicated.
Does he look like he's ready to fire, or is this?
Well, he's pulled the gun out, but again, especially as members of the Tide, you understand how gunpowder weapons work, and he has not cocked the hammer. And you're not sure the way he's squinting at you, even the short distance, because you're only about 30 feet away from the guy. You're just at the bottom of the stairs. So even so, the way that he's squinting to even try to get you guys into focus, whether he would even hit you is up for debate. He seems very, very impaired at the moment. And just looking at what he's wearing and everything else, the gun seems to be the only weapon he has. He doesn't openly carry a sword. His outfit doesn't lend itself to concealing weapons very well. So, yeah, he does not appear to be much of a threat. We'll cut back over briefly to Ulric, 'cause I don't think you did your roll.
I have
Ulric.
not. Let's see if I
Okay.
roll better than the last few to come by.
I will give him assistance.
Not much better.
Okay, roll again, Ulric, for advantage. There you go. All right, so you're checking out the wood fire stove?
Yep.
All right. It's a wood fire stove.
Do we notice the hubbubaloo going on out in the ballroom yet?
He's not shouting, so you would probably hear a murmured conversation, but it doesn't. No one is sounding alarmed. Now again, Sid, you obviously can hear better from your vantage. But again, Orin for his part is not. While he sounds confused, and he has pulled his weapon, he does not sound angry, or he hasn't raised his voice at all. So everything seems fairly calm, if slightly worried, given that there is a pistol involved.
And so far, he doesn't seem to have guards, so as long as we can keep it quiet and not alert the neighbors to
That's
problems.
a big assumption. Let's hope.
I believe in us.
I don't, but let's try anyway.
Okay.
So the way that everything is set up,
Mhm.
yes, I'll just kind of like motion for Lily and Ulric to kind of be quiet. Can I see him from where I'm standing?
Can you see
Or-
Orin?
Orin, yeah.
No, because he would be above you.
Okay.
So you can see where Rem and Nika walked along the staircase, and then you lose them a little bit when they walk to the base of the stairs, just because they have to go around the banister. But I mean, you've been keeping an eye on them this whole time, so you know basically where they're located, and you can judge from Orin's voice about where he is located. You know he's above you. And
so there'd be no way that I could actually.
You don't
see
have
him
direct line of sight on Orin, no.
unless I move over to where they are.
Unless you come further to the base of the stairs, you
Okay.
don't have line of sight on him. But
So
you
there's
can
not a way
hear
for me
him.
to see him without him seeing me.
Correct.
Okay. Then I will just quietly notch my bow and like give a nod to the other two that are dealing with this.
I will, as I see Giles coming into view, make a point of staring directly at where Orin is.
Okay.
I'm trying to get within 30 feet or so, like if he starts firing, charge him.
Okay.
Length of distance.
Yeah, you're not far from him. Again, just being on the base of the stairs, you're only a flight of stairs from him, so you could very easily. And I believe you're pole arms, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. So especially with your reach, that would not be a challenge for you.
Sir, we don't want any trouble here.
Okay, he squints down at you, Rem. Like, are you here about the advert? Because I told them that position was long filled, but you know how the criers get. They talk to one another, and nobody talks to anybody. And I can't tell you how many people have been just busting down my door at all hours of the day and night. Now, mostly Rana handles this, but since you're clearly not Rana, it's been filled. And he just gestures with the gun as he's talking the whole time. So if you could see yourselves out, good people, that'd be wonderful.
Very well. We'll get going.
I'm gonna give her a look to see if she wants me to just go ahead and bash him, or if we want to get out of here. Len, you make the call since you're in immediate shot distance.
I'm considering it, but I think it would be better not to attack somebody who is famous.
Alright, I'll back away then.
Okay. So you back off of Orin as he stands like a king at the top of his landing, who has decided to ignore you for the moment anyway to concentrate on his cup. Has not put the gun away, but is now using it as more of a pointer than a weapon. Yeah, gun safety 101, exactly. It does not appear to be following you down the stairs.
All right, I think we're going to move out of his line of sight, and then I, at least, or I or Nika, will probably decide between the two of us organically wants to stay behind and just make sure that he goes back upstairs.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll motion for Rem to sort of stay in the doorway and see if she can hear him walk away.
Okay, cool. I'll take a hiding spot somewhere, turning my gray side outwards because, darkness.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty easy to sort of just sidle along the edge of the steps and be unseen. And it doesn't sound like he's left, at least not right away. He seems to be singing a song to himself at the top of the stairs. Slightly echoed, so he must be looking into his cup. So the rest of you are now sort of reconvening in the kitchen, I assume.
I believe so.
Well,
Lily
Rem's got
has-
a finger held out, like, shh, to anybody who comes in.
Lily has not moved a muscle since Giles motioned for them to be quiet. She's learned her lesson, damn it!
After a few moments of everyone being suggestively still, and that seems like an eternity later, Rem, you hear a sound of, oh! Like this massive eureka moment that echoes off the roof and the somewhat bare walls. And down the stairs, slowly and deliberately and ever so carefully, comes this swaying man.
I'll motion for people to back off and go back into the other rooms and take cover and all that.
Okay. Everyone make a stealth check other than Rem. Are you staying foremost or are you going to hide it?
Yeah, I'm still trying to hide in this room.
Okay.
But,
all right. Yeah, it's
Lily
pretty
is going
dark.
to beg with her eyes for Ulric to help her stealth.
I think Lily isn't in this room, right?
She's in the kitchen.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
in the
see,
kitchen.
That's where Ulric still is. Why am I rolling a stealth check?
No, everyone needs to roll a stealth check, even if you're in the kitchen.
Damn
Oh,
it!
Oh god!
God damn it! Another plate breaks.
I think upon hearing that,
Wow.
Why? I've had good stealth rolls with Lily before. Why is every single one here so terrible?
So, Orin rounds the bend of the banister of the steps, headed towards his kitchen, as Lily, in her desperate attempt to flatten herself up against the wall, accidentally upsets a shelf full of plates. And
she
it doesn't knock
freezes.
the whole thing down, but it definitely knocks a few loose and makes a nice sizable clatter.
She's going to freeze and pretend to be furniture.
And here comes Orin, now with his gun a little steadier, as he approaches the kitchen
after hearing
cautiously.
that, if he walks near me, I'm gonna smack him.
Okay. And he comes and he stands in the doorway and scans the room. I will roll for him, even though he is just blitzed out of his gourd.
Can you roll better than a 2 with disadvantage?
Let's see if he can. Let's see if he can.
Please. Nat 1.
Nope.
Alright. Where are you, Orin? Alright. So he starts to walk into the kitchen, gun drawn, moving slower and more deliberately than he was before. His cup's still in his hand. I mean, that's not going anywhere. But he seems to be kind of carefully checking out the room, calling a little softer than you would anticipate. Friends, are you with the gray one? I didn't ask before. Hello?
Ooh.
I think. Wait, is
Don't
Nika
see
attacking?
Yeah, no, I was gonna, after Lily made that sound, I was gonna try to disarm him and walk by.
I don't know
Again,
who the
his
gray
gun
one
is still out.
Yeah.
And he kind of appears to be scanning the kitchen, but for now he's just sort of standing in the doorway and scanning it visually. He hasn't walked into the middle of it or anything. He's still in the doorway between the Great Hall and the kitchen.
Does this gray one ring a bell, or do we have no idea what he's talking about?
I am gray.
Can
I'm
I?
also limpy for that matter, but
Oh,
uh,
got it. I heard that in capitals.
Just in case, um, just in case Lily is, while her eyes are shut and she's pretending to be furniture, she's going to rack her knowledge of history and see if there's any knowledge of this gray one.
Or he's just referring to Thera. We don't know.
We don't know, but who knows?
I mean, you can roll a history, sure. That's not super specific. Like there are lots of examples of things that could be called the Grey One. For example, the Grey Lord, the Iron Lord, is one of the gods of the current pantheon, the Greater Pantheon. Grenin has sometimes been called the Grey Lord. Yeah, that's not super specific.
Follow up. Can I roll an insight to know which one?
Yeah, you can roll insight if you want to. Ooh,
My rolls have been great tonight.
oh, nice.
Yeah, you have. You've been rolling super well.
As
Critical
opposed to
success
somebody else we can talk about.
on insight. He doesn't strike you as the reverential type.
Gotcha.
So he sounds legitimately confused. So it's probably another person. As he walks into the kitchen.
Yeah, if he walks into the room, I'm gonna.
Yeah, he's after standing in the doorway and
Snack
calling.
time.
Okay, go ahead. Roll an attack.
I'm not going to kill him. I'm just trying to get
That's fine.
that thing. Did he go within 10 feet of me? This is an important question.
Yeah, he is walking into the room.
Gotcha.
Oh,
so
God.
I potentially have 7 tries at this.
All right, do your
Make
first
all 7
one.
count.
What'd you say? Sorry, Erie?
Try your first one.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Nice.
That will connect. That connects to, we'll just say it gets him in the arm from your position. Sin, do your thing.
Ah!
Okay.
Sin is Orin?
I'm so confused.
I'm not sure. Would this be a dex check? I didn't actually make an attack for this.
Let me look.
I now feel a little bad that I said I was going to unleash 7 attacks. This is sin.
I believe it's a dex save for everybody, yeah.
I'm doing the first. I'll just type what I'm doing.
Okay. Okay. That works for me.
And I'll just type what I want to do.
Okay. Tell me what you're going to do.
This is concerning.
Yeah, this
I
is
am
a little
concerned.
alarming.
It's fine. Don't worry. It's all fine.
I heard deck save for everybody, and that is always a phrase that comes before death.
I am very
not be a dex save
alarmed.
for everybody.
Blank save for everybody is the phrase that comes before death.
If it is like something the party has to save, can it be an int save instead?
You wish.
Int saves can exist in 5e.
Dex is
Don't be
probably
silly.
our best save in this entire party.
Collectively,
No.
we want Dex.
Okay.
Is that just impossible or?
No, that's not impossible at all. Oh,
Okay.
okay, that'll work. No dex save. Sorry, guys.
Do you want me to put the description of what this thing does, or did you already?
No,
check?
I'll just describe it. I'll just do it.
As I'm not in the room, I'm immune, right?
Int
You're
save?
in the room. You're all in the room.
Hmm.
In
So-
the kitchen? Because
Good
I'm
one,
in the
Lily.
ballroom. Or the hall.
No, everyone's in the kitchen.
I'm not.
Oh, that's where you are. Oh, you're behind him. Yeah, you're hiding. So you're behind him. And as Nika's attack connects with Orin, there's a slight sound of, it sounds like china breaking as the kitchen begins to fill with deep smoke. and fog, just sort of this deep purple fog permeates everything. And a moment later, it dissipates on its own, and standing over, or go ahead and make a strength check, Sin, please.
Okay.
See if this works.
Strength or athletics?
You can do athletics.
Yay!
Ooh.
Oh, jeez.
As the smoke clears, instead of seeing the collapsed form of Orin, all you see is his cup, its contents spilled on the floor, rolling in a lazy circle. His pistol also remains on the floor, having
excellent.
clattered down. And he himself is gone.
Did we hear something like someone backflipping out of the room?
There was definitely swirls in the smoke that indicate movement, but it was a closed quarters and pretty heavily obscured in there.
From my
Okay.
vantage point outside, did I see
I'm
anything different?
You saw from your vantage point. Make a perception check at disadvantage.
I'm taking this gun.
Okay.
Just
Rem.
while we're here.
Okay.
Me.
Yeah, you saw swirls. You definitely saw movement. You saw the soles of Orin's boots sort of poke out of the doorway as he fell when he was bashed by Nika. You heard him fall, and then you, rather than see him stand again, all you saw was his boots briefly scrape along the stone floor, the toes, and then they were gone completely.
Into the kitchen?
Into the kitchen. Mm-hmm.
So, as the smoke clears, Lily is going to process this sudden disappearance, and assume, because magic doesn't work in Loreholt, we'll assume outside agency. Because I'm assuming she didn't see him move.
Who? Rem?
No,
Or
Orin.
Lily?
She didn't see. Lily
Lily
didn't see Orin.
crap.
Well, before the smoke, when Nika was going to attack, she didn't see him move, did she?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So she's going to assume outside agency caused that smoke to appear, in absence of an actual trigger from Orin.
Yeah, you didn't see Orin do anything. All you saw was Orin had a gun in one hand and his cup in the other.
All I know is I'm packing now. This is my gun.
Fair.
That's concerning. Rem, did you see anything from outside?
I'm gonna come back inside to the kitchen slowly, making sure that nobody's here, and in a whisper, just basically say, "Somebody pull him into the kitchen," and then that's all I saw: smoke and him disappearing.
Let's check for trapdoors or hidden entrances or some kind of switch.
Check that fireplace again.
So Lily is going to investigate and look for hidden mechanisms, hidden doors. She's going to check the ceiling to see if maybe there's some rafters.
Okay, in your investigation, what you don't see anything different about the room in and of itself. You do notice that there are bits of white all over the ground.
This is limp.
Like some kind of white material?
Like
yeah.
the same thing that was written on the door?
No, these are
She's-
eggshells.
Oh,
Eggshells?
Eggshells.
I'm very confused.
Is there, based off of what she can see, is there any residue on the inside parts of the eggshells?
Not a whole lot. There's like a vague purple dust on some of them, but most of them have been smashed pretty fine.
She's going to take out an empty vial, and using I don't think she has. Yes, she still has a dagger. Ha! She's going to use a dagger to scrape some of the eggshells into said vial and cork it up and pack it away.
It's pretty minute. You're not going to get a whole lot out of it. I wish you had like jeweler's tools or something a little finer than a dagger, but Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
I mean,
well-
you'll get some, but it won't be much.
Would she have anything in her alchemist tools that would work for that?
Most
'Cause
of
I
the
assumed there-
alchemists. Go ahead.
Because I'd assume there'd be something for like ingredient collection, or maybe something for measuring out very specific measurements of things like powders or liquids.
Uh, I'll say there's something fine enough that you could scrape it, but like I said, it's a very minute amount. You won't have a whole lot to work with.
Yeah, as long as there's something enough left for her to maybe analyze it and reverse engineer it.
Maybe analyze it, reverse engineer it would be tough.
So I have a theory. I'd like to see whether or not Rev would have any inkling of this theory being correct or not.
Okay.
My theory is this was a smoke bomb and the eggshell was the delivery method.
Well, yeah.
That is my assumption as well. So,
Well,
That-
can't have gone that far. Let's get looking.
there does not appear to be any hidden mechanisms or trapdoors here in the kitchen. Since they did
Gotta
not
be a room
exit
nearby.
into
We
the
didn't hear 'em
ballroom,
running.
that leaves the dining room, but we already searched that quite thoroughly.
Well, then maybe we should start going upstairs.
Yeah, and there was no evidence of really anything
Like any sort
out of
of
the ordinary in
footprints
the-
left in all these eggshells.
No, no. Again, the
Yeah.
eggshells. The eggshells
Any
are
new
pretty much
any new
splinters.
disturbance in a particular direction, just to try to get a sense of where they went.
Well, again, the kitchen only has 3 entrances. It's got the back
Right.
door, which is still shut. It's got the door to the dining room, which is still open, and then it's got the doorway that leads into the great room that Rem was standing just on the other side of, and Rem didn't see anybody come through.
Gotcha,
Let's-
dining room it is.
Let's see if anybody went through the dining room door.
I think we left it open.
Yeah, the dining room
did.
door was open, so you can go through. You still see the same open window that you guys dismantled. There is the closed door on the southern wall, and that is shut, as it was when you came in. But basically, it looks the same as when you left.
All right. Now that we have we have somebody here, we'll keep a lookout. And
Let's stick together as a group.
yeah.
Yes,
and I guess
they-
we'll just still search room to room.
There
And
is
whatever-
a
Do one,
chance
let's
they-
do one more top down of this dining room first, because we know we went through here.
there may-
Also, whoever this operator is, they are clearly kind of dangerous, or at least competent, so I suggest that from now on, we see somebody, we act fast, and we put them down.
On that note, Ram, take this, and I'm gonna give her the boomstick.
There
Sure.
is a good chance as well that they left throughout the window and maybe an alarm might be raised. We might want to act a bit more quickly.
I agree
get going.
there.
Alright, so ballroom investigation. So Lily is going to make her way to the ballroom, investigate that. She's going to take note of any other doors and anything that seems to be particular interesting, including any evidence that this actually is Amramarin's mansion. Maybe in the artwork, if she can recognize any Vochans, or maybe a little picture of Davin's family or something.
Okay. Leaving the dining room through the southern door, you can see now that you're on the other side of the staircase, there is a small sort of parlor set up on this side. It's basically a couch with some oversized chairs that's just been sort of set up in one corner to sit upon. But other than that, the rest of the room is completely open. The paintings that are here, they are a mix of different artists, but one of those artists is Vochan. He always has his symbol on his paintings, but they all appear to be landscapes and cityscapes. There are no portraits necessarily in here.
Up the stairs.
So, question.
Mm-hmm.
In the course of the investigation, Lily would have obviously checked for false panels. I don't suppose there are any of those, especially in maybe the parlor area?
Nope, no false panels.
Any other doors? Just the staircase up?
Just the staircase up and the doors leading out. The massive double doors that lead outside.
Right, nothing here. Who wants to take the stairs first?
I'll do it.
Might as well.
So now or
Yeah, if you wish.
Great.
so you hear a voice from above just say hello.
Fucking ninjas!
Lily is going to look up for any sign of somebody. Or did that voice just echo out of nowhere?
It pretty much echoes out of nowhere. You're welcome to. Everyone is welcome to make a perception check. Roll high.
Hey!
Not quite high enough, but keep rolling.
Aw.
If somebody wanted to have assisted me,
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I'm making my own rolls.
close. Make your own roll. All right.
I'm still going up. I don't like not being able to see these
Yeah.
guys.
So, really,
Well-
Rem, you're the only one who's even close. You get a vague idea, a sense of direction from where the voice is coming from, but all you see is what you think might be an outline in the darkness, but you're not sure. It's definitely coming from the rafters of the great room, though.
Well, Lily.
rafters of the ballroom, like
Yes.
Well, Lily
Alright.
knows that they've been seen, and they're actively being watched, so she's just gonna realize that there's really no point in stealth. Hello.
You won't find what you're looking for here.
And how do you know what we're looking for?
I suppose I don't, but you won't find it here.
And how do you know that?
You don't strike me as art lovers. Or patrons of the theater.
Not particularly. It's the secrets of the house we're after, mainly.
What secrets?
Well, if we're correct as to the previous owner of this place, well, let's just say she was a fairly tricky and conniving sort, and very apt to hide things in places people might not expect.
Who
Why
do you
don't
think
you,
the former owner was?
I find myself very nervous speaking to shadows. Would you mind introducing yourself?
I'm fine, I think.
We might be fine not continuing this conversation then.
Well, perhaps I can help you find what you're looking for, if you tell me what that is exactly.
Do you happen to know if Amra Marin ever owned this house?
Doesn't ring a bell.
It would have been quite some time ago. Somewhere around, what was it, 20 to 60, possibly more? Anywhere in the range from 20 to 200, really.
No, this place only really came to my attention when Oren moved in. He's a genius,
Right.
you know, and you struck him on the head.
I did not strike him on the head. If anyone, that was you.
Well, we're happy to leave. We just need to see if this house has what we're looking for first. We don't want to cause any trouble, but I'm afraid the information I do desperately need, if it is here.
Again, you won't find what you're looking for, but
Where should we be looking?
been fairly picked over.
If Amra did indeed own this place, she would have ensured it was extremely well hidden. Also, who did the picking over? Is there any specific group or just a collection of individuals?
You don't get any reply to that.
Look, what's important is a few questions I have. First off, are you planning to hurt us or stop us?
Good
Me
question.
personally? No. However, I'm here on behalf of the Falaroon. And, well, I'm sure you know what they're like.
And
Indeed.
have they tasked you with stopping us and or hurting us?
No, they just asked me to watch over the place.
In which case, do you plan on helping us?
I do not plan on helping you. I don't know what you're looking for, and you just smacked Orin.
On the arm, he'll be fine.
We have no quarrel with the Falaroon.
Okay, look,
And what is it
we're
that
running out
you
of time. I'm
want?
going to make this simple. We're looking for a library. Is there a library in the house?
Or perhaps a workshop, laboratory, hidden rooms, hidden passages, things of that sort.
Not that I know of, no.
Hmm.
Well,
Again, I don't think I could best you all in battle. So I can't really stop you without going and getting help. It seems like the easiest course of action here would for me to just hang out up here and watch while you go about your business, and then see you on your way.
if you
What does-
assist us, we would be able to get out of here much faster and out of your life and out of your trouble.
I'm not inclined to do that. I'm content up here.
What
Fair
do the
enough.
Falaroon have?
Throughout the course of
Interest
this
in this place
conversation,
anyway.
have we been able to pinpoint his location at all up in the rafters?
What was that? Oh.
Throughout all of this conversation, have we been able to pinpoint his location up there a little bit better? Or...
Again, Rem got a range
Gotcha.
just based on his voice, but not enough to direct an attack.
So along this general time, I feel like I've been probably walking around the room slowly, trying to like triangulate based on directions. Also, I'm trying to get a read on this person and their motivation still.
While all this is going on, after he said, I'm inclined to just watch you and see you about your way at the end. Very well. We will ensure not to harm Orin, provided he does not attempt to harm us. And we shall endeavor to leave this place as undisturbed as possible.
What does the Falaroon have wanting this place and paintings and Arin anyway?
I'm assuming, and Lily's gonna just kind of whisper to Ulric, I'm assuming it has to do with Amra Merrin. She was a very particular sort of elf.
That's what I'm thinking. There's no reason for the Falaroon to be watching this place if there wasn't something special here. Because unless the art and theaters Falaroon made, they wouldn't have any interest in it.
Yes, I think this is rather just confirmation that this is indeed Amra Merrin's fate, or at least
The
it
name.
used to be.
Amra Marin doesn't ring a bell, but the name Marin does. I don't know much about it, but I do know someone who does.
Oh?
It will require a trip outside the city into this elvish word that Yuri told me. Yararin Aureladin.
How far?
Not far, just outside the city.
Once we have concluded our business there, will you take us?
Hmm.
And
Well,
if so, what would it require? What would you require as compensation?
Nothing, just to leave this place.
May we
Can
finish
we-
our search first, and then
I
we will.
suppose if
most
it doesn't take too long.
Absolutely, wonderful. We shall endeavor to make this as short as possible. And Lily is going to stride up the stairs and start investigating.
The ransacking, part 3.
Not ransacking, not ransacking. We're being observed, and she wants to talk to this person.
I suppose I will stay with Ulric because I need somebody for a safety buddy.
Okay. Safety buddies.
Stay with buddy.
For those of you that are exploring the second floor, as I mentioned in chat, there are 3 rooms up here.
Well, if we split into groups of 3, then we're good. Or 3 groups, rather. Not groups of 3.
Split the party.
Okay. And I'm guessing. So is it like 3 rooms, like in a hallway, or like 3 rooms, as in there's like this little square landing type area, and there's 3 doors on the walls there.
1 second. Okay. Now, repeat that for me next.
So is it like 3 rooms in a hallway, or is this like a second floor landing and there's like 3 rooms
It's
on
a
this
second floor
landing?
landing. Once you get up there, there are 2 doors, one that's slightly ajar, one that's completely shut, and then the landing takes a perpendicular turn
Mm-hmm.
towards the front doors, and there is a door there that is also somewhat ajar and is surrounded by bits of metal and wooden scraps. Appears to be under construction.
Gonna check there first, just because it seems to be the most interesting. Gonna cautiously just kind of push the door the rest of the way open.
Okay. The first room that is slightly ajar is clearly somebody's bedroom. Pretty well apportioned, silver mirror, large 4-poster bed, large armoire, stuffed full of clothes. Both the doors are open. This is somebody who has a lot of knickknacks and some bit of money. There's a table and chair set up at the foot of the bed, and it is absolutely littered with bottles half full. Some are completely empty, some are unopened, cups, various small glass jars, and odds and ends.
I'm gonna do the usual Ammermarin specific type of investigation, looking for hidden things.
There doesn't appear to be anything hidden here.
What does the construction appear to be for?
Oh, that's the way you went? I thought you went to the first one.
Yeah. No, I went to the construction one. It seemed
Oh,
the
the
most
construction door.
interesting.
The construction door is a bedroom, but it's almost completely empty. It's just a 4-poster bed with no dressing. It doesn't look like anyone's here anymore. There's some random books that are left about, but nothing major, love poems, things like that. The construction on the door, it looks like somebody might have kicked it in or bashed it in and busted the lock mechanism, as well as the wood surrounding it, and somebody's trying to repair it. The hinge shows that it's had some work done, so it might have been rehung.
Mm-hmm.
And they're attempting to repair the wood and the lock mechanism.
So can I, do I re-roll the investigation for this room,
No,
or just
that's
use the
fine.
previous one?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's absolutely fine. Yeah, there's really not much here. It looks like the dressers are empty. There's nothing under the bed. There's really not much of way of linens on the bed. It doesn't look like anyone currently lives here.
Yeah, and there doesn't appear to be like false panels anywhere or like.
Not that
Okay.
you can see, no.
Okay, so the only room left would be the one with the super shut door, right?
Right, yeah, because the other, at the opposite end of the hall, that's the other bedroom with all the bottles and everything. Yep,
Okay,
so there's just the one shut door.
So, since you already described it, can we just say that I,
Yeah.
fast forward through checking it?
Sure.
I'm gonna check the last door.
Okay. This door is, it opens, it's not locked or anything, and it is clearly a library. But for some reason, a lot of the books have been taken off of the shelves and stacked up on the floor in some sort of pattern. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like somebody was in here fairly recently. The curtains still kind of smell of smoke, and there's a burnt torch that's been tossed in one corner. There's a large wooden desk with a chair, but there's nothing on the desk, and the drawers are pretty much empty. There's the place where it looks like the desk might have been moved. The grooves in the floor don't quite match where the desk is currently standing, and there are indentations in the wood of the bookshelves along the back wall that show where things might have been and have been moved. There is only one window in here. It is shut, and it has that same sort of heavy velvet blackout curtain that, again, smells faintly of smoke.
I'm going to investigate this place extremely carefully. I'm
Okay.
going to look at the books that are left and see if any of them catch my eye as potentially being something belonging to Amramarin.
Okay.
And I'm going to check very, very carefully, not just where the desk was, but where it is currently, where stuff used to be, just looking for that. I feel like if there's going to be a hidden passage somewhere, it'll be in here.
To give her assistance and to get away from Ulric, and
Okay,
help her with
good.
that.
Yeah, so
right.
I'm taking
Oh, she got it
very...
though. She doesn't need no help.
Yeah.
The books on the shelves, most of them appear to be reference volumes. There's a lot of reference about Greylock law. There's some history books in here, but most of them appear to be for reference. And the books on the floor that have been stacked up, it looks like somebody has been kind of categorizing them. There's a stack of Jack Dangerous novels. There's a stack of love poem books. There's a stack of other works of fiction. There's a stack of plays, as well as some of the reference volumes that have been pulled off and stacked up here as well. Now, there are some that are kind of out of order, but whoever did this, it was a very meticulous sort of thing. There's the definite feel of a librarian that was working here. Everything's in order. Things are set up by subject matter. Authors are in alphabetical order. It's
more likely
very,
to be
very
this
specific.
More likely to be this mysterious Rana than Orin, based off
This
of the
this
meticulousness.
is highly meticulous work. Orin doesn't strike you as a highly meticulous person.
Yeah.
Granted, you've only seen him drunk, but he doesn't he doesn't seem to strike you as a very meticulous individual. But
I
this
also
is
know my
extremely
sister, who
meticulous
is
work.
also a bard.
Yes. So, beyond this little sort of half circle in the middle of the floor of these books, you notice in the far corner near the window, near where the burnt torch was sort of tossed off to one side, there is a small trap door set. It runs flush with the wood, and if it were closed and covered, you wouldn't know it was there. In this case, it doesn't have a covering, and it is shut for the most part, but it's still kind of slightly ajar. It doesn't appear to be locked of any kind. It looks like somebody hastily tried to make a door for it and set it on top. You can see scorch marks on the wood along the back end where the hinges would have been.
Mm-hmm.
And someone has tried to make a cover for this just out of an errant piece of wood. Removing the cover and looking inside, it is a square hole. It's only, no more than a foot deep, about a foot and a half across, just set into the floor of the office. You can see deep grooves on one side where something sharp has been dug in and pulled out over and over and over again, creating ruts. But only on one side. The other side is completely clear. There doesn't seem to be any further hidden compartments or anything in this little hole, and the hole's been completely cleared out.
Rats. Would something like, would the grooves match something like maybe the hinges to a safe?
Could be the hinges to the safe, could be the corners of a jewelry box. It could be, they're spaced enough apart that it's not something overly large, definitely not larger than a bread box. It's just, something sharp like that. A latch, hinges, corners to a box, something along those lines that have just been dug in and out of this, of the side of this little cubby hole over and over and over again.
Okay, and that's all I find in the library.
Yeah, that's all that's there. Like I said, the desk is completely empty. You do find splatters of ink on the floor, but you don't actually see any ink or quills or paper.
Okay. Lily is going to step out of the library and address the rafters.
That's your name now, Sid.
If you don't mind my asking, is Master Orin a fan of the Jack Dangerous novels, or were they here when he took ownership of the place?
I don't believe he owns the place. As I say, the Marin name is familiar to me. Marins own the place.
So they still own it, he's just merely residing here for the time being.
That's my understanding. I believe that the owner is a patron of the arts.
That sounds like who we're looking for.
Indeed.
Good question. The smoke that we saw from from inside the kitchen, that was purple.
Purplish, yeah.
What did you want the gnomes for? What did they deliver?
Me?
Yes.
I am not here. I am a shadow. I've just been watching.
I would wager that they were here for construction, to fix the lock on the door and perhaps board up the window, yes?
Yes.
Okay. You said this place has been pretty well picked over. Would that be by several different groups or individuals, or would that be by a specific group?
Well, after the kobolds came, originally, I believe the Falaroon gave it a once-over. I myself have had a bit of a poke around. Then there was that limpy fellow. I've seen Rana poking her nose into various corners. As I
She's the
say,
one who organized the library?
probably. She's a bookish sort.
Well, as you say, this place has been pretty well picked over. All the hidden spots I was able to find have already been found and things removed. I am concerned that perhaps the ones who found what it is I'm looking for might have been the kobolds, in which case that leaves me concerned for, well, others.
Is there a bottom floor to this house?
I believe we're on it.
Is there an underground floor?
I don't think so.
Who's the gray one?
He was probably talking about Limpy. Unless it was some vision conjured by his vapor wine.
Alright, who's Limpy?
I'm not exactly sure. Some mule, half dwarf, half man. Gray pallor. He was about the place, poking around.
I can sympathize. Does that sound like something familiar to anyone?
Actually, come to think of it, would that be familiar? A half dwarf sounds similar to.
Half dwarves are very, very rare in town. They're not unknown. They mostly work in the mines and in the surrounding areas. So to actually have one in town would be strange.
So the gray pallor could have been grayscale, or whatever it is that.
Yeah, gray pallor could have been
Iron
grayscale, but mules are gray. I mean, they generally do inhabit underground, so they do kind of have that shared gray pallid skin that a lot of undercommon races have.
Would the Cathal Ross ever have a half dwarf, half human among their number?
If they found one dead, sure.
Would a dead Cathal Ross be able to, like a reanimated Cathal Ross? I'm assuming since Lily disappeared, whatever was reanimating them would also fail upon entering Lorehold.
Yeah, any magic that animated the dead would fail inside Lorehold, and the Cathal Ross themselves generally don't go above ground.
Okay, so probably not Cathal Ross then. Right. Well, whoever this Limpy is, I find myself concerned about that and the kobolds. You said the kobolds ransacked the place?
Yes. I believe it was their intrusion that started this whole drama.
Erie, the other party, where would they be in cardinal direction in relation to Lorehold? Would that be to the east, to the north?
They're west.
West.
Yeah, east of here is all mountains. You guys have never been east of Lorehold.
Okay. Would this perhaps be the kobolds who reside west of here? Or do you know?
You wouldn't have any idea.
Not great with directions. I sort of go by the stars where they lead me.
Fair enough. Well, I don't believe there is anything further to be found here, and without knowing who exactly it is took what we're looking for.
Well,
There's
as I
no way
say, I do know someone who knows more about the Marins and about this whole story than I do. If I could convince you to exit the place now, I would be happy to take you to him.
Absolutely. And
No,
Lily
hold
is then
on.
going to turn to the group. Look,
Hold on just a second. You're trusting a Falaroon already.
Look, all I'm going to say is there is absolutely nothing here. If there was, I would have found it. Somebody has already been through and ransacked the place, and we have no idea which group it was. If it was the kobolds, well, my sister and her friends will be encountering them shortly. If it was this Lempy fellow, well, we have no idea how to track them down. And if it was the Falaroon, well, they're not going to hand it over. However, somebody who knows more about the Marins, well, that could be a circuitous way of finding the information I need and finding the information that's potentially useful to your boss. You don't have to come with.
Yes, we do.
The job that Marston told you to perform with me is concluded with this house. If you do come with as an extension of your job, I would be grateful, but you don't need to.
I don't think you understand how these contracts work.
Yeah.
In one way or another, you go in trusting a Falaroon, you are going to get yourself killed.
It's not wrong.
Additionally, I believe that the Falaroon has trackers after this Limpy, so they might have more information on that as well.
Furthermore, outside of Lorehold, I will have access to my particular set of skills that I have been unable to use to our benefit here. We have a highly capable group, and I can provide a large amount of versatility outside of Lorehold. So, perhaps, we should see where this road takes us. Regardless, we should at least leave the premises. We have relied on the graciousness of our host long enough, and there's nothing here to be found.
Fair
Right.
enough.
Good sir, we are vacating the premises, as per your wishes, and I would be delighted if you would escort me to this person who knows more of the Marins.
Very well. So the shadow in the rafters sort of swings down and leaps, or tries to leap acrobatically down to the floor, and makes a bit of a rattling, clanging sound as he lands and stumbles a bit, but recovers and tries
Do
to.
we get a character image now?
I don't know if I have his picture or where I put it.
Hang on, I'll do the thing.
So he's got like a red mohawk and multiple piercings and a couple scars on his face. He's wearing this big black cloak made of at first it looks like a gorilla pelt, but it's got 4 arms. There's 2 shorter arms that he's got tied around his torso as kind of a belt, and then he's got 2 longer arms that he's sort of got carelessly flung around his or wrapped around his neck a couple times as kind of a scarf.
So it looks like it's giving him a hug.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
And it's got a hood too, but the hood's not up at the moment. And yeah, the cloak looks heavy by itself, but also the way it moves, it looks like there might be hidden pockets carrying some stuff. And he's got a bit of a hunch to his back. You can't tell if he's deformed. I mean, your first impression is that he's kind of deformed. He's maybe a bit of a hunchback, but as he moves, he's pretty graceful, so you think maybe he's carrying something underneath the cloak there.
Once he lands and steadies himself and has his balance, Lily is going to wait for him to regain his bearings. To avoid startling him, she's going to walk forward and hold out her hand. Liliscea Lanfried, it's a pleasure.
Likewise, he says. He doesn't shake your hand, though.
Or offer his name.
No.
Which I don't think anybody else does either.
No, and this means I don't have to figure out how to pronounce his name.
Shenanifan.
That's the one I can do.
Well, shall we be off then? I'd hate to overstay my welcome any further than I already have.
Very well. Are you prepared now, or do you need to, I don't know, poop? What? You mortals poop quite a lot.
Yes, yes, we'd like to go poop.
How long has it been since we've been in this house?
You guys have been dicking around for a little while, not too long. I mean, it's not quite dawn. Lily tends to investigate quite quickly and quite thoroughly. So you haven't been here the whole night quite yet. You still got an hour or so till dawn.
All right, so I'm coming down, so perhaps give it a bit.
Perhaps we could meet you somewhere on the morrow, just to give my comrades some time to rest and regain themselves. At one of the gates, perhaps?
Very well. How about what was that one? The
Red Gate?
Red Gate? Is that a gate?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It is now.
No, it is. The red gate is a gate.
That's where we exited last time.
Okay.
Is it a gate that's going to be the most efficient route to wherever it is we're going is the question.
Yeah, which gate would I
Well, all the gates are headed in your direction. You don't want to go out the main trade gate, because that's going to be pretty choked, and Shenanigans, you would not want to use that particular gate. The red gate, though, is smaller and mostly controlled by red cloaks. So they're probably not going to mess with the tide, but they're also not going to see you. So that's the best way to go.
How about we meet just outside that gate?
The red gate?
Yes.
Very well. We will meet you there. What time would work best for you, Rem?
I think Rem died.
Alright.
I'm here.
Yeah, Lily asked what time would meeting at that gate work best for you, since we are working around your particular condition.
Oh, I thought you were asking, who's it? Shenanifan.
Shenanigans.
I can move again safely within maybe 12 hours.
So around maybe 1 o'clock then.
That works for me.
I
Okay.
would be delighted to meet you at the Red Gate around 1.
On the other side.
Yes, on the outside of the gate.
All right.
Naturally.
Then. I will see you there, and I will reach into my cloak and
That's so unnecessary.
throw down a eggshell grenade, which bursts into a cloud of smoke
Fucking
and
ninjas!
disappear.
I'm
God
going
damn.
to.
Wait.
No.
I
Never
am
mind.
On that one.
Lily's
Try,
going to take out
that's
another
important.
vial and get as much of the leftovers as she can.
All right.
She is going to reverse engineer this if it kills her.
Woo-cha.
Only got up to 16.
So, as smoke clears, Shenanigans is no longer in view. You are left in the home of Orin.
Which, as soon as Lily
Apparently
is
it's
done
not
collecting, as soon as Lily is done collecting the samples, she will promptly leave since she agreed to.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're heading out.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no reason I can think of why we should remain.
So you guys
Best
all...
that's what-
heist ever, guys. We're so
As
good
we're
at
walking
this.
out, I'm like
Yeah. Just walking out the
Hitting
front
with my
door.
thigh.
Just totally unlocked.
Alright, well, shall we rest at the inn then?
Oh,
And
I
I think
would-
we should rest at home and give a status report.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe
Very
inform
well.
them that we're going waltzing off into Falaroon territory.
Exactly my point of view.
Very well.
Yes.
Do you think that Marston will want any input from me?
Maybe. I don't think a report from everyone would hurt.
Alright, well,
Or
I'm
just everyone
happy.
tell me what's going on and I'll do the report.
Yeah, but then that makes it sound like you did something.
Well, then we'll go with my original plan. You're right, I should just stick with what I come up with first. I'm just that brilliant.
Well, I
Well.
think I would prefer to be there regardless, just to make sure there are no misinterpretations of what I have to say.
All right. So y'all file out of the manor, out the open front door and the unlocked iron gate, making your way back to the Tide HQ, and managing to find beds for the evening. Again, Marston isn't going to be available. It's way too early for him. But you are able to get some sleep, to rest up, to resupply as needed. And
Finally have that fucking smoke.
yep, you have a cigarette and get some rest. And whenever you want to crawl out of bed the next morning, afternoon-ish, you are welcome to do so.
Lily gets up after precisely 6 hours. She does not waste time sleeping when she doesn't have to. Twinges a bit because arrow wounds still hurt.
Her fault, really.
And then starts kind of trying to break down more in that journal while waiting for Rem to wake up so her bandages and shit can be changed. Because I imagine after tripping and falling
Yep.
a couple of
Yep.
times,
All
and
these things, maintenance.
Yes.
kind of pull wounds open and stuff.
Ew.
So
Yeah,
probably
when
a bit
Ren
of blood.
comes down to check up on Lily, she's like smacking her thigh with her fist a little bit, like it's like an itch underneath the surface or something like that. But doesn't mention it and just quietly changes everything.
Is everything all right, Rem?
Everything's fine.
Well, remember what we discussed
I
before.
remember.
At the end of this, I would be happy to see if I could be of assistance.
I wish you would.
All right. So it looks like Giles is going to be the first at Marston's door.
You can just trance freaking elves.
I miss being able to trance.
Yes. So he's first there at Marston's door. Of course, door opens and Marston is his usual jovial self. Because this is now, noonish, so he's been up for at least a couple hours. Smiling broadly, clapping you on the back, bringing you in. He leaves the door open because, it's just you. Aw. Brings you in and sits you down. So, how's your little assignment going? I trust it's proving to be somewhat profitable.
Not quite yet. We ran into a bit of a snag. House that you and your that you provided to me turns out to be that there was nothing actually there. However, Falaroon are interested in that place, so I do not think it was a waste of time to actually go there.
Really?
Yes.
That would
I don't
make
know what it
sense.
holds, but I don't know, something to do with the Marin family, I'm sure.
Would you suggest sending in another recon team?
I
Or are the knife ears actively watching it?
They have somebody actively watching it, but up for the next couple of hours or days, because he's also we met the person who was watching over it for the Falaroon, and they've agreed to help our lovely lady friend find some more stuff outside of the city. So I figured that we'd distract him long enough for you to send in another party and not be inconvenienced by him.
Sounds excellent. The owner?
The owner, it's apparently still under the Marin's name. However, there is a man there, you might know him, Orin, who has taken up residence there.
Is he squatting?
I don't know. That was never actually answered.
Well, the plot thickens, I suppose. Huh. Definitely worth checking out anyway. Old house like that, bound to have something valuable.
So, has enough time passed for Lily to show up to talk to Marston?
I'm sure enough time has passed for her to make it into like kind of that parlor area outside, sort of the pseudo waiting room. But Marston would still be talking to Giles and not not really having noticed her.
I'm assuming the half-orc guard is still there?
There is a guard. It's not the same half-orc as was before. The guard this day is a dwarf, completely different dude. Who's just kind of hanging out. It looks Roback. Roback's a nice name. Yeah, it's a completely different guy than the half-orc from the other day.
Lily, rather than just barging into Marston's office, because how rude, is gonna ask if he can let Marston know that she is waiting at his convenience to see him.
Dwarf kind of gives you a little half nod and then just waits. And, I mean, you can kind of hear Marston talking. So yeah, he'll notice you eventually. The dwarf doesn't seem to be in any hurry.
Gonna light a cigarette while I'm waiting. Marston already gave me permission.
Yeah. So Marston is chatting away with Giles. Like, all right. So you're gonna wander off to the far and wide with a knife here, huh?
Unfortunately.
Well, at least you
I
outnumber
mean-
the bugger for now. But don't forget, where there's one you can see, there's a dozen you can't.
Thing is, we sometimes can't even see this one, so
It's Falaroon, man.
yeah. Fucking ninjas.
Indeed. Very
Also-
much so.
And then I start. Was there any indication that somebody was waiting for us to finish, or no?
Not as far as Marston's concerned. Like he's got his feet propped up on the desk. He's chatting away.
Cool.
He if he sees Lily, he hasn't acknowledged her yet.
Cool. Well, then I'll be like, well, I think that's about it. The girl perhaps wanted to talk to you. That I'm not exactly sure what she'll have to say besides she couldn't find anything, but I noticed there might be a little bit.
You mean the nerd?
Yeah, the nerd.
Mm.
The one who likes to just talk and spout out everything that she's thinking. So
That's an occupational hazard.
that it is.
Do you want me to have Helica send a man after you, or do you think you'll be okay on your own?
I think we should be fine on our own. However, if we do not come back,
I will sell your beds and everything you own. Don't worry about it.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
Oh, appreciate the information very much. We'll get a crew over there as quickly as we can while the Falaroon are looking the other way. Excellent job. See? Knew you could be trusted, no matter what Ulric says about you.
I know, but you can't trust anything Ulric says.
You can't trust anything ever. All right, go. You have a date with the Falaroon. Try not to die.
Don't remind me. I just sigh and over dramatically like fall out of his office.
That's a real possibility. From what you, especially with the Tide, knows of the Falaroon, they don't take prisoners. They just outright murder you.
Yeah. Yep.
You might be okay because you're an elf, but you're also a Tide elf. So that's a whole another layer of traitor. All right.
I will make sure to take like paints and stuff so I can paint my face.
Yeah.
Like even Annie wasn't safe, and she was a non Loreholt affiliated elf.
Yeah, no one is safe. If you're not Falaroon, you're a traitor. Okay. So the dwarf kind of motions to you, Lily. Shark doesn't get out of his chair. He's still got his boots up on his desk.
Lily is going to stride into the office rather than sweep in because she's not dramatic like that. Is it afternoon by now?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you guys didn't get up until almost noon anyway.
Afternoon.
That it is. What can I do for you today?
Well, I thought I would inform you as to sort of the situation. There were a few insights that I had that I'm not entirely sure if you're aware of at the moment.
He's cleaning his nails with the tip of his dagger. Do tell.
Well, for instance, the kobolds were the first ones to raid the house that we attempted to infiltrate.
Mm-hmm.
While I don't have any concrete evidence to support this, I'm wagering it's probably the same kobolds that my sister and her friends are currently pursuing.
But you don't know where they are.
I know they're west of here.
West is a big place.
Well, indeed it is. However, we are supposed to be meeting up sometime after we're finished with our tasks. Since Greylock is shut down, I would rather imagine it'd probably be here.
Well, you are all, of course, welcome under the Tide's banner.
Furthermore, I believe that both Amra Merrin and perhaps Master Orin the Bard are associated with the Falaroon.
Possibly.
It would make sense if you think about it. The house is still under the Marins, and the Falarun individual that we encountered was familiar with the name, and is taking us somewhere outside the city who would know more about the family. And I do not believe that they would suffer... what would the common parlance be? A squatter, I guess? In a house that they're watching.
It is strange for the Falarun to watch a home, I'll give you that. They don't usually take protection rackets. But
And even stranger for them to allow someone to reside there while they're watching it.
you met one elf who said he was Falarun. Falaruns don't usually come into the city.
Wow.
But it is an interesting point of view, to be sure.
Yes, I'm afraid that the house was rather scraped clean, however. All of the various hiding spots that I was able to uncover were, sadly, uncovered before I even got there. So I'm hoping to not only find the information I seek, but recoup the time you and resources you invested with this information that we are supposedly going to get.
Well, there's one thing the Falarun have, it's information. So it seems like a fair use of your time to follow this elf into the middle of the goddamn treaty woods. I just hope, for your sake, of course, that you all make it back just fine.
Indeed. Now, as you very kindly pointed out, I have very little experience with Falarun. In order to facilitate everyone making it back in one piece, and indeed having a profitable venture, would you have any advice as to how to deal with them in such a manner as to have a satisfactory conclusion? What?
I would not deal
Okay.
with them. But if you are going to walk into the middle, and as you are quite clearly a tourist, I would do everything that they tell you to do when they tell you to do it. Just remember, the Falarun, they don't take prisoners. They just kill you on the spot. They have no use for materials, they have no use for bribes, they have no use for money. All they care about is their honor and your blood. So just tread lightly and hide behind Ulric if you have to.
Well, I thank you for your advice. I will be sure to keep to it closely. Fortunately, this is not the first time I've had to risk my life for information, so at least for my sake, it is necessary. Whether or not you think the venture is profitable and you're willing to invest your resources is entirely up to you.
Well, I'm sending you 3 perfectly good people, plus Ulric.
Indeed, and I would hate for this to end up with nothing gained for you.
We'll make it to our advantage. Just try not to die. And remember, you're always being watched when you're with Falarun. Always. Never assume you're not.
Very well. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to assist you in any matters. You are doing me a very, very great service with this.
Why, I appreciate your appreciation. Just don't die.
I shall do my best. Mainly because if I die, then there's a very good chance that... Let's just say that it wouldn't just be me that came to ill.
And kind of nods your direction.
I will not waste any more of your time. I just wanted to ensure that you had all the information. I imagine there are some details that might have escaped the notice of the others, possibly.
Again, appreciated. Attention to detail is always appreciated. Try to use that when you're in the woods.
I will. Have a pleasant day. I hope that when next we meet, it will be over a successful and profitable venture.
He kind of waves his little dagger at you. Goodbye.
And is going to leave. Not sure why she thought that was a good idea.
The dwarf gives you a little nod as you walk out the door. Anything else you guys want to do at Tide HQ?
I believe Nika and me are having a little conversation
I
about
see you guys
how
are having a
Lily is trying to
And I'm also
gotta get us all
prepping for
killed.
the inevitable here.
Knowing of the Falaroon and their stuff that they can do, would the Tide have any access to those roots that heal?
They do not, unfortunately. That is one of the powers, that is one of the advantages of the Falaroon, is Werden Root only grows in high magic zones, of which there are obviously none in Loreholt. So the Falaroon are the only ruling gang that has access to them. Obviously, they're not the only people, because, Camp Benalis does, and there are other groups within the woods that have access to them. But the Falaroon are the only gang that does. You can find it in the city on the black market, but it is extremely rare and would cost you upwards of 2,000, 3,000 gold a dose. It is very, very precious stuff. The Falaroon does not let go of it lightly.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, last time when we came through, we did ask if they had any Weirden Root, and they were like, "Nah, sorry."
Yeah, they don't.
But that was
I think they instructed us to
like,
bury them
outsiders.
alive, in fact.
So, between me and Nika, I'd basically say
We need to talk to Marston and make sure we have the right equipment for this. I mean, our basic set might not be enough. It is Valerie we're dealing with.
I mean, we can try. I don't even know what to ask for against those.
I don't know. Maybe just money works.
Yeah, might as well. Can't hurt. Though, from the looks of it, he's getting a bit of a parade of people in and out of his office.
Yeah, makes sense. Going off into Valorant territory.
Yeah.
People want to talk to him.
People don't survive this.
Lily is going to track down Ulric and Giles
Just-
while they're going to talk to Marston.
And he expects us to just go along with her,
Apparently. I mean, we haven't gotten told we're free from this. He's a maniac.
You're not wrong.
Glad we agreed. Then, should we go? Have a
Yeah, can't hurt.
conversation?
He's not gonna drop us on the spot when he needs cannon fodder for this.
All right. So you two make your way to Marston's office, and he looks up as you. Again, his doors are open. Looks up as you enter.
Or down, probably.
What?
It's down, probably.
Oh, yeah. No, it's fine. No, I mean, he smiles, and he seems relatively happy to see you.
Oh, I
knows
just
your
meant
names.
height-wise.
Oh, no, he's sitting down. He's at his desk, so you guys are at eye level. It's okay. He doesn't stand for that very reason. Like, Nika, Rem, I am seeing all types of people this morning. How can I help you? Now, Giles has already given me a report, and I've already had the nerd version. So if you're here to update me, please.
We're not here to update you. We're here to ask for help and also ask you, is this lady out of her mind?
Yes. And yes. What kind of help can I give you?
First off, you assigned us to this, and we expected this to be a heist at best. Maybe gathering information in the city. We did not expect to be outside in Falarun territory with a mage.
Listen, I understand and share your concerns. I'm not a camp on the weekend guy myself. Shocking as that may be. So I can see trepidation in going out to the woods. I got it. I understand. But first off, we're going to send another team into the house. Now that you've scared away whatever resident knife-ear has been squatting there, we're going to check out the house and see what we can pull out of it. Who we can pull out of it, if need be. Don't worry about that. But what you have to understand is the nerd, crazy though she may be, is valuable. Just, she is. Preferably alive. Although, don't risk your skin
Oh.
if it comes to it.
We'll just
But
try to bring her
preferably
books back if
alive.
she talks that back to him.
You know what?
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm on your team. I'm on Team Nika, Team Ren. Team Nerd, I support from afar. Try to keep Ulric upright, of course.
But with that said, yeah, we appreciate your support, but we could use something more concrete. Another body, more equipment.
I can't spare another body.
So then how about another dose? I don't know how long I'm gonna be out. I might need more.
I offered a scout. I offered one of Helga's scouts, but
Wait, he turned it down?
I'll probably do it anyway. Pretty sure I can win that fight. Helga doesn't want to see you harmed either. And you can't trust the knife ears. No. Yes. We can do another dose. That's fine. That's fine. I'll have it sent out to the apothecary. It'll be back before you leave, even. I don't want to delay you any further. Aren't I a great boss?
Great boss. What about for Nika?
What about Nika?
I'm pretty well armed. Not so much we can do there.
Nothing you want?
We'll take
How
better
about-
armor if we've got some shiny stuff lying around.
Or ammunition? As I hold out the pistol.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way. And I'll pull out the gun. We got this.
That's... Yeah. I don't know. Needs a little love. Someone hasn't been taking very good care of it. And kind of picks it up, looks at it a little bit. It's a decent model. We can get you some black powder and some chromite. That's not a
Be
problem.
appreciated.
Yeah.
Ranged
Yeah.
is not good at hitting things from afar. This could help a little.
That is definitely something we can do. Got it. So, black powder, chromite, and a little bit to keep Rem going. Fair?
Fair enough.
I'll double your pay when you get back.
That is also appreciated.
I'll even give you an extra
Yeah.
gold if you keep the nerd alive.
How about if we just get our books back?
Deal.
Oh.
So he looks at you again, very openly, kind of spreading his arms wide, like, anything else? Yeah, we good? We happy? Everybody happy?
Well, we'll be back, hopefully, in one piece.
No. So he kind of stands up and
Don't let Giles or Ulric get my shit if they come back.
well, I'm selling it all. You know the rules. You die, your stuff is
Good.
forfeit. So he kind of, just barely like fingertips kind of on your shoulders as he ushers you two out. But he does bark over to the guard to grab some charges from the armory and to send out for an order for and the charges you get right away, Nika. You get enough ammunition for 2 shots, in addition to the one that's already
I'm going
loaded
to enjoy this.
into the pistol. So you have 3 shots total.
Gotcha. I absolutely know how to use a gun. Totally. 110%.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, 'cause you have no idea how to load a gunpowder
I'm gonna be
weapon.
looking down the barrel. Be like, is there something in there?
Yeah, like I said, there is one charge already primed in there, so you can get off 1 shot without having to reload.
Well, we're like conceptually familiar with guns, at least.
Yes,
right?
you've seen guns work. You understand it's a pull trigger kind of thing, but Nika, particularly since she's more of a melee fighter, has never actually loaded a gun before. The Tide has weapons and they trade in weapons, but it's usually the Augmented Eye that handles weaponry on a regular basis. They're the big arms manufacturers and arms dealers. It's something the Tide would love to get into because there's a lot of money in it, but so far they're just kind of tangentially involved.
I could give Nika a primer, I guess.
Yeah, you could kind of
primer.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, you could on the trip. You could probably give her a rundown. It's still not a skill that you have, but you could probably teach her not to blow herself up while loading the weapon.
Rule number 1, don't look down the barrel.
Gotcha. Can do.
Yeah, that stuff you know. The basics, don't look down the barrel, only point at what you want to kill, that sort of thing. That you know. But the actual handling of it and loading and that kind of thing is not a skill you possess. So
This is going to go well.
yes, it will be
But if
great.
we get in combat, we're fucked anyway.
So
Keep
you
your
got
finger off the
charges.
trigger until you're ready for something to die.
Mm-hmm. Rem, you get your dose as promised, but just the one. Considering
have
how
to do.
expensive it is.
They can make more. I know
yeah.
they can make more.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anybody else have business in Lorehold?
Ulric does, of course. That's
And
silly.
Ulric? What would you like?
It's his turn to make a report.
Okay. So, the next wave comes into Marston's office just as he sat back down from barking off orders. In comes Ulric. Marston is smiling, but the smiles are looking a little,
Strained.
yeah, a little rough around the edges. Ulric, I feel like I've seen all of your team members today. What can you tell me that the others can't? Impress me, son.
Well, I figured they would do most of the mundane reporting, which is why I let them go first, especially Giles. I made him think it was important. That's how you delegate, you see. But that's neither here nor there. This is about the Marins.
All right, do tell.
It's obvious that they still own that house. The schlub who lives there, he might be important to the Falaroon. I don't know. Keep tabs on him ourselves, kidnap him, torture him for information. That's not important. Well, it might be, I don't know. But it's the house. They say it still belongs to the Marins. Which means there might still be a surviving Marin in the city.
Sounds right. Do you know who his bookkeeper is?
Not off the top of my head. But I know that boy's father is still running around somewhere. And if you remember, Lily gave you the notes, the information that was supposed to give us help if we ever came to Lorehold.
Mm-hmm.
They might be a lead to finding where the Marin is.
Possibly. Did you make heads or tails of it?
No, I've been concentrating on this. I'm sure you've got some nerds of your own hiding in the back that might be able to work it out.
We keep 1 or 2, yes. I find them to be fairly bothersome, but yes, we do. We do.
Here's what I'm thinking. The rest of the party, the ones that are investigating the kobolds, they're stupid but effective. If we can find the boy's father, make him stay with us, whether against his will or not's not the important part. That gives us leverage over them.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the Marin boy, the potato child. If we really don't want them to be a problem, which they probably will because they're a bunch of morons, and they think they're altruistic, obviously they're just fools stumbling through this world. But I think following that lead while we're hopefully not getting skinned alive by dagger ears is the way to go, so that when we have our reunion with them, we've got all the good cards in our hand.
Sounds like the beginnings of a plan. What are the nuts and bolts, though? How do we get from here to there? There's a lot of ifs.
They're bringing, if they survive, the dragon orb. We're trying to find Amra's library, teaching us how all these things work. Maybe even part of Amra herself. We get the father, who knows this information. He's a living connection. The only good thing we've got with Amra right now. Between the book and him, we can put the pieces together. When the party arrives, we can, I don't know, mutually have them hostage over one another. Threaten to kill the boy if the man doesn't do what we want. Threaten to kill the father if the boy doesn't play along. All the pieces are coming to us, but we have to we have to collect the father for this to really come together.
Agreed. He is kind of the linchpin here. Assuming he's even still in town. I'll meet you in the middle. I've heard about your little field trip. And I envy you. Truly I do. But while you are experiencing life outside the big city, I will send out feelers. I'm already sending a team to the house itself. And we will dig up what we can dig up there.
All right.
I will find out precisely who the bookkeeper for the family is, assuming they have one, and I would assume that they would. So, between the two, by the time you get back, either you'll have vast amounts of information and leverage, or I will. And we will go from there. Are you sure, though, that the other half of your group will be coming back to Lorville?
Well, if they decide that coming here is not the best idea, you're the one that mentioned that you've got a hit out on them. Well, a bounty, you know. And the only other places they could be going, I can point to on a map. Whether that's Greylock, which they can't get into. They might be going back to the horrible potato town. There's a few places they might go to.
Relatively open places, though.
Well, I think the most obscure and hardest to enter one would be Camp Venalis. They seem to have friends there. One of them especially, the Paladin.
Those are the wrong sorts of friends to make, don't you think?
I'm not the one who made them.
That would be difficult. Sending men into Venalis would be difficult.
Let's hope that's not where they decide to try to take ground to if everything falls through our fingers.
This is sounding more and more like a plan that I like.
Good.
Alright, agreed. I will put some men on it. Here. You handle the great outdoors. Try not to die.
Thanks.
I highly doubt that whatever derelict you picked up at that house is true Falarun. But
I'm thinking the same. He wouldn't be taking us to meet his people if he were.
exactly. Sounds like a bit of an odd duck, in my opinion. But if he is, just be cautious. Try not to get the others killed, if at all possible.
Well,
If at all possible.
I will do what I can.
I have to get an earful from Helika every time one of you dies, you know.
Whoa.
I'll send
I
some
wouldn't want to
backup.
put any extra weight on your shoulders.
I certainly don't need it. But I will hold up my end if you hold up your end, and hopefully you can bring the whole crew back into my little area, and we can just take care of this once and for all, and I'll cash out much happier.
That's a happy ending.
Very. Now, I'm tired of having meetings already. It's not even mid-afternoon. As much as I enjoy your smiling face, Ulric, I'm done with you. Go meet your others. Go play with the elves in the forest as you are wont to do.
Ugh.
And I will see you when you get back.
And Ulric will bow and go, leaving Marston's office.
Alright. Anyone else need to see Marston?
Nope.
No, let's just go
Shenanigans.
back for fun.
Do you want to see Marston?
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay. Just checking. Just checking.
Actually, I need to go back and.
I will murder you all. Marston pulls out his pistol. Starts plugging everybody. Okay, so Ulric
hey,
leaves
now I know how
Marston's
to use one of
office.
those.
Yeah, let me give you some lessons. Ulric leaves Marston's office. Reb, you have gotten your resupply. Nika, you've gotten your charges and hopefully gotten a basic idea of how to shoot and fire. Any other business in Lorehold?
Nope.
Alrighty. So we'll have you guys meet outside the Red Gate. And I assume Shenanigans is there?
Yep.
Banana
Okay.
fans.
Shenanigans. And it's 4:25 now, and I know Sid said he had to bolt pretty soon. So we'll go ahead and we'll wrap it up here. I would kind of like to pick this up next time, if that's okay with everybody. Just
Okay.
the way I've got things plotted, because I think
That's fine.
I can kind of get you all in one place. But
It's
in order for
totally
that to...
fine whichever half, but I didn't actually hear which party you said.
this party. I'd like to pick up with this
Gotcha.
party next
Totally.
session, if that's okay with everybody.
I have both of my characters are headed towards certain death right now, so it's really whatever.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Then let's go ahead and plan to pick up here next time, and we'll see how this foray into Treaty Woods goes, and if y'all end up Falarun food or not.